Welcome back. It's Doug NPA. What day is it? It's the day after Christmas. I know that. It is Thursday, December 26th of 2024. We only got 5 days of 2024 left, guys. So let's make them good ones. I hope you relax. I hope you're spending time with family. I hope you're being productive because I have this feeling about 2025, guys. I feel like 2025 is going to be a crazy one. Anyway, like the video on the way in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, drop a comment if you're watching this after the fact, and don't forget to hit the super chat button. The super chat goal for all of my live streams is modest. I have a $10 goal, so let's hit that goal. And we are talking about child-free modern women. Hey, modern women aren't having children. Less and less women are having children. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't. If you don't want to have kids, don't have them. And also, I wish that the black community, because Doug MPA is black, would have less kids. Too many single mothers out there. I'd rather have a woman have no kids than be a single mom, right? And women always perpetuate this myth that like men are telling them to have kids. I don't think so. I think that women are pressuring other women to have kids, especially older women. Gen X, boomer women are trying to get millennial and Gen Z women to have children. But I've never met a man that's ever been like, hey, hey, lady, why don't you have children? Well, in the West at least, I've met Latino, South American, African, Eastern European, maybe, but American, Western women, no, men do not pressure women to have kids. They just don't. Whiteout, good to see you, my friend. K Francis, good to see you. So put in the chat right now what you think about child-free women, because I don't care if women have children or not. In fact, in the black community, I want to see a whole generation of women not having kids, so we can have no single mothers. Anyway, so we're gonna go over a case of the crime files. Oh, Raja Gamer, good to see you, my friend. Oh, and hit the link at the top of the chat if you want to come into the conversation. I'd appreciate that too. We're gonna go over the crime files first, and then we're gonna do a news story about some Christmas cheer, and then we're gonna go into child-free modern women. So let me share my screen here, and okay, let's get into this. So, look at this headline: Woman shot and deleted by police outside of Arkansas church on Christmas Eve. Police say, "Dang, good Lord, yikes! Literally,
Jesus H. Christ."
God, they don't even know why she was. Well, let's just get into this. John Carlo, good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. All right, let's get into this.
News at 9 starts now.
As we come on the air tonight, a woman is dead, shot and killed by police. A police officer in Arkansas. Thanks for joining us at 9. I'm Daniel Wilkerson. Darcy Thomas and Daryl Green have the night off. It happened in the small city of Hughes, about
Steve M., good to see you, my friend.
a half an hour from Memphis. Fox 13's Rosalind Freeman is there tonight trying to piece together what happened.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into heartbreak here in Hughes. Just by
Guys, God, what is that? We've been spoiled by so many pretty news anchors, and then all of a sudden, this thing pops up on the screen. Oh my goodness, we've been spoiled, guys.
behind me is Hughes Church of God, where
Albert C., good to see you, my friend.
disturbance call quickly escalated, leaving one family mourning during the holiday season. Police say it was around 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve when officers from the Hughes Police Department and the St. Francis...
Nah, man. Nah, Whiteout. She's way too big to be a Oompa Loompa, man. She's a Oomtimus Prime. That's what she is, man. Come on now.
County Sheriff's Office responded to calls of a woman with a gun causing a disturbance near this church on Main Street. Arkansas State Police say a Hughes police officer encountered the woman near the intersection of Main and Benton Streets. At some point, the situation escalated and an officer shot the woman. She died at the scene. Her body is now at the Arkansas State Lab, where investigators will determine the official cause and manner of death. Special agents from Arkansas.
Wait, why is it going to take a medical examiner to determine the official cause of death? She said that the police were like, "Ma'am, put it down, put it down, put it down." That was the cause of death. What are they talking about?
State Police are now investigating to decide if the officer was justified in firing their weapon. No word right now if there was any body camera footage. It is not clear if the woman had pulled her gun on the officer or threatened the officer in any matter. That's what Fox 13. We're continuing to dig for more.
That's a big one, dude. God, that's a big woman. Oof.
Information.
Ooh, roving pursuits. Good to see you, my friend.
For now, in Hughes, Arkansas, Rosalind Freeman, Fox 13 News.
Rosalind.
They make them big in Arkansas, boy. Jeez. And let's do a story of holiday cheer. So the single mom was about to get evicted, and Isaiah Thomas, the Detroit Pistons legend, swooped in to save the day. Let's see some holiday Christmas cheer.
A local woman in danger of losing her home getting help from an NBA legend. Once Pistons icon Isaiah Thomas heard about this family's financial problems, he stepped in to save the day.
What a guy. Hank Winchester is live to show us how this all came together. Hank, this is pretty special.
Yeah. Ty, Kimberly, it certainly is. You know, Isaiah Thomas, a legend, true. He has not played for the Pistons, though, since back to the bad boy days. But as you will see, he is still very much connected to the city and the people that need help in this community.
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Sorry.
This is a moment I won't soon forget. And it's a moment that happened all because of Isaiah Thomas. Yes, that Isaiah. Pistons legend Isaiah Thomas.
And he's asked me what was he doing for Christmas. And I said, well, ironically, a young lady just came to me and she's facing the mix. I want to figure out how can we help her because it's Detroit, it's cold.
Guys, so of course, anytime you see something about eviction, assume it's gonna be a B-dub, guys. Assume. Chad Doyle, AJ and I, we are identical twin brothers in real life. That's why we have the same cadence and stutter. Yeah, but we are identical twin brothers. We are not the same person. Raymond, good to see you, my friend. But Doug, if women stop having kids and being single moms, who will sit in the back seat of all their Nissan Altimas? Guys, you see that Nissan and Honda are gonna merge? What? Yeah, man. No one's buying Nissans anymore because of that Carlos Ghosn guy. You know, he jumped the he got arrested and then he ran out of Japan. And then Nissan has the reputation of the Altima and the Rogue being Keisha mobiles, man. And I don't know how they're gonna shake that image. The Altima will forever be the Keisha mobile.
Old, and him and his wife called me a few days later and they took care of the rent, almost $8,000 in rearages.
She was $8,000 behind in rent. Guys, come on now. Black women are the most evicted, the most foreclosed on group of people in the United States. So if you ever see a story about eviction or foreclosure, assume it's a B-dub.
Terrence was doing his annual turkey giveaway at Eastern Market when this family showed up. They didn't just need a turkey, they needed help with their rent. They were months behind, facing eviction at their Harper Woods home.
I'm a trying mother, and I tried, and help came for me. Because all I needed was help, and I got help.
Terrence connected with his friend Isaiah Thomas, and after a few phone calls, the rent was paid. Almost 10.
Giancarlo, that's Eclipse is Mitsubishi.
$1,000 wiped away.
They paid the
Yeah, Rage Gamer said it. She needed to be child free. 100% true. 100% true.
Rent for me down to a balance of zero. A big blessing of the year that I got.
Yeah.
For me and my kids, a huge relief.
Now, this holiday season, this family able to celebrate together here at home.
Thank you so much. Thank you, God, and thank God for you. Thank you.
Ah, what a great Christmas.
Anders, good to see you, my friend. She said, "Yep, all that's doing is is it is it, it's just kicking the problem down the road. Because 5 months from now, she's gonna be back in the same spot. And why are the poorest of the poor B dubs always so big? You couldn't afford RIP, but it takes a lot. Because she look. Let me go back. She's like a smooth fucking 350, right? Maybe at least. Why are all the women getting evicted so big, man? Yikes! And don't get it twisted, guys. All these women, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. Men are terrible. Men are this, but they'll always, if a man will swoop in and save them, they won't say no. If they were gonna stand on something, she'd say no, no. I'll figure it out. But look at these fake tears with those tarantulas on her eyelashes.
And thank God for you. Thank you.
Ah, what a great Christmas Eve story. As you saw there, it wasn't just the rent being paid. There were gifts and gift cards being brought in for the family, for those kids. A lot of people coming together to make sure the holiday for this family will be extra special. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank. We'll send it back to you.
Big Detroit legend with a big heart. Love to see that, Hank. Thanks for covering it.
Yeah, it just prolonged the problem. She's gonna be out on her butt right around May. Watch. $8,000 behind in rent. Come on now, guys. And she lives in Detroit. Rent is cheap in Detroit. So she's probably like a year behind, maybe at least 10 months. What's she doing the whole time? And who keeps getting these women pregnant? Guys, we gotta do better. 51 some change. He was binge watching a bunch of my videos the other day. Thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let's get into this childless women thing. So I found this on Oprah's website of all things. What not to say to women who are child free by choice. Who's gonna take care of you when you're old, and 6 other faux pas. And guys, here's one thing. Women don't want to be shamed for not having children, but society shames men for not having children too. Remember these trad cons? A man isn't a real man until he takes on a wife and children. I had this woman one time. This was in 2021. I was at we were at a different building. No, I'm sorry. This is 2019 because this is when we were still going into work. And I went to a different building than my regular building for work. And we were doing a get to know you kind of thing, like a social setting or whatever. And I said, "Oh yeah, I don't have any children." And this older B dub was like, "You don't have any kids?" And looked me up and down like something was wrong with me. And then she asked me, she said, "Why don't you have any kids?" I said, I just don't want any." She's like, "Oh, is there something wrong? D- does your sperm not work?" She literally said that to me. I said, "What'd you just say to me?" She's like, "Oh, I mean, I'm just curious because I've never, I don't meet a lot of black men who are successful who don't have kids." But she asked me, she said, "Does your sperm work?" And this was in a professional setting in a professional office, guy. This is like a 57-year-old B-dub had the nerve to ask me that to my face. So women act like men don't get shamed for not having kids. And guys, tell me what you think about this. Put in the chat, because my biggest fear is co-parenting with a demon of a woman. So I am so dead set on not happening that I'm just not going to play the game. I'm not going to have any kids, and I'm perfectly fine with that. What do you guys think? It's not wanting to co-parent. It's a risk of getting some demon of a woman pregnant. Enough of a motivation lifelong to not have children, because I think it is. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Doug in PA, you'd be such a good father. You'd be so great." I say, but the biggest problem is I I would have to have a child with one of these modern women. And that's enough to not play the game. Guys, you're gonna lose when it comes to children and paternity court in the West. So just don't play the game. We are about not playing losing games. Those games where the house always wins, guys. Just don't play it. And be fine with your choices. Anyway, we're gonna skip right to maybe we'll read the first paragraph. I've known that I didn't want to have children of my own since my early 20s. Even as a child, I would abandon dolls and get bored. I met my partner. God, this has to be a woman. Yep, Emma Gannon. I met my partner when I was 22. I'm now 35, and every time we discuss having kids, we both shrug and agree it's simply not for us. No big reason, no big discussion, just that we both prefer to do other things. I'm lucky that we're on the same wavelength, and I'm lucky to have a big family. I have 4 siblings, and I'm a proud auntie of 7 nephews and 2 nieces. I have a domestic life and home I love. I see a dog on my horizon, and I'm a writer who loves to travel and experience new things. My plate is full and overflowing with love. Child-free people like me are all over the news at the moment. This is due to ongoing studies reporting that millennial women are having fewer children, but also due to the off-the-cuff remarks such as J.D. Vance's dig at cackling Kamala and all childless cat ladies who are apparently living miserable lives. As for the research, a new study by Pew Research Center said the share of U.S. adults younger than 50 without children who say they're unlikely to have kids rose from 37% in 2018 to 47% in 2023. The number of women who are child-free by choice is on the rise. Okay, so let's just get to the she says, when a woman tells you what they want, try and believe them. So here are the things that she wishes that she would never hear as a child-free woman. Rajay Gamer in the house. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. What's going on? What do you think about modern child-free women? Are you down with women having less children?
I'm completely for that instead of, you know, them being single mothers. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this specifically to you. I might have said it to AJ. I don't remember. But when I was in middle school, that's when like there were girls that were, getting pregnant. So
Yeah,
I'm
I remember
like
those
I
days.
saw that really early on. And I'm like,
Let me
yeah,
say
you
this.
would have been better off not
I gotta
getting pregnant.
I gotta interrupt. 51 and some change. Um, I think I've done stories about single mothers by choice on my channel. The most selfish thing a woman can do is go at motherhood all by herself. Whether she um gets pregnant by Nug Nug, who already has 4 kids, and then decides to call that father a deadbeat the rest of his life and do it by herself, whether she gets IVF or whether she gets inseminated. That's the most selfish thing a woman can do. Single mothers by choice are the scum of the earth because most of, especially if they get inseminated or or IVF, because you're bearing a child into a situation where they will never know their father, right? But I have to be equal on both sides. I think it's selfish for a man to go into parenthood all by himself. I have to be equal across the board. It's just selfish. Anyone that goes at parenting by themselves, you're selfish. Anyway, go ahead, Rachel.
So, I'm actually going to mention something that Kay Francis has put about surrogacy. I know you said it's selfish, and I'm not wrong. Like I don't really say like you're wrong about thinking about that, but the laws here pretty much makes it like if you are a man, you are going to be screwed if you sadly attach your child to a woman like legally
Yeah.
here.
Yep. Yep.
Like either you have to move to a country that just has very favorable laws, or maybe somehow you can change laws in your state. Who knows? But as long as the laws are the way they are, you just can't safely get women pregnant. Like you have to have like the surrogacy.
Yeah, I agree. 51, some change. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. What do you think about modern women who are child free? What do you think?
Man, but the sad thing is, it's only going to be the white girls that don't have children. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I mean, it's only the white girls. The black girls will still be spitting out babies left and right.
Yep, you're gonna have Pookie. Because remember, guys, Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nug Nug have mystical powers over all these B-dubs, man. I'm telling you, they come in at 9 o'clock, shoot up the club, and they're out by 3 o'clock, man. I'm telling you, guys, 80% of African American children are born out of wedlock. 64% of B-dubs, if they have more than one child, they have more than one baby daddy. It's insane, guys. Insane.
Hey,
Yo.
40% of black women will have a child before they turn 20.
Oh, come on, man. Are you serious?
I'm serious. Asian women, it's 8%. White women, it's 10%. And Hispanic women, it's 14%. And black women, it's 40%.
Man, I love these numbers, man. I moved away from DC to the South about a year ago. So I live in Alabama, and bro, it's in the water down here, bro.
Do I live in North Carolina? I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is insane, guys. And guys, I gotta say it. Don't deal with single mothers, guys. Don't do it. Don't sleep with them. Don't date them. Don't marry them. Do not play another man's saved game. You are better than that. Don't take care of another man's children. Don't do it. And then one more stat. Guys, what age of women are the fastest growing group of single mothers? Guess an age range. I've said it on my channel before, but anyone guess?
Doug, is it like over 30 or something like that now?
It is. It's over 30. Guess the age range.
Maybe is it like 35 to 40 or something like that?
50 what? Some change. You have a guess?
I don't know that number.
It is 33 to 37. Right?
Oh my God.
Now, what happens between 33 and 37? They smash into that wall, guys. They smash into that wall. I've said this on my channel multiple times. These women, they spend their early 20s getting some degree that going to some high-priced institution to get some degree that nobody cares about, to get a job that's not going to make them any money. Then they spend their late 20s, early 30s giving their whole selves and their best years to some job that can care less about them, guys. Care less. And then right around 33, between 33 and 37, they look up and like, oh my God, I'm alone. What am I going to do? I want a man. Or you know what? Or even worse are those women where I can't get along with the man. I can't have a relationship. I need someone to love me. So they have a kid to fill the void that a man should fill.
Right.
Yep.
They want masculine energy, but they want to control it.
Yeah. Well, no. I wouldn't even say masculine energy. They want love, and they also want control.
Yes.
And masculine has nothing to do with it because they could have a girl.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's awful. All right. So let's see the things not to say to a woman who doesn't want children. You guys, LLW 213, Good to see you, my friend. Women want someone to love them. Women don't need love. 100% true. Guys, make sure to hit that like button already if you haven't. Subscribe. Drop a comment if you're watching this after the fact. And my super chat goal for the stream is $10. So if you're feeling generous, hit that super chat button. I'd appreciate it. Okay. And I'm gonna ask you a question real fast. Ray, go ahead. But have either neither one of you have children, right? And have you been shamed for not having children?
I don't have children, and yes, I have been shamed for not having children.
So I don't have children. I'm trying to think. I don't really think I've been shamed for not having children. But like I really don't like. One, I'm also like an introvert, so I don't really hang around too many people. And I kind of like hang around like-minded people, so they probably wouldn't shame me anyway.
Okay.
Doug, and you know who was doing the shaming? The women in my family. The women were doing the shaming. It wasn't the men, it was the women.
Yeah, I agree. I only get shamed for not having children by women.
Yep.
And women only get shamed for not having children by other women. Guys, I said this at the beginning of the stream. Men in the West, we don't shame women for not having children. We just don't. Maybe some trad cons do, but those are few and far between. But in general, it's women. Women can't stand each other, and they find any way to put each other down and tear each other down. You guys know that 70 to 80% of workplace bullying is women bullying other women. 70 to 80%.
Yep.
The freaking Anti-Bullying Institute is some think tank in DC that they found that out. 50% of women say that they'd rather work for a male boss than a female boss. 90% of paralegals surveyed say that they would rather work for a male lawyer than a female lawyer. And why is that, guys? It's because women can't stand each other. That's why. Reza, you were going to say something?
Yes, I was going to mention about the, women having children to have someone that loves them. And I really hate that because, one, not only is it selfish, you really need to be selfless when you're trying to have kids, but they'll always, like, more often than not, these women would be like in the worst, like, financial situations.
Yes.
And
yes.
then bringing these children in, and like these children will just resent you as a parent.
Yeah, I agree. Because kids will be able to tell what kind of it's only 7% of births to white women with a bachelor's degree or higher occur outside of marriage, and 1 in 3 births to black women, and 1. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I love stats on my channel, man. I love them. I'm like a stats numbers freak. I love it. But anyway, yeah, if people, it's funny because kids aren't dumb.
Right.
They just don't have the ability to really process what's going on until later on in life. So these kids are able to tell if the love from their mother is motherly love or something else. And right around their teenage years, they start feeling that weight. It's like all these broads. Well, I may not have a husband, I may not have a lot of money in the bank, but I know my kids will take care of me when I get old. It's not their responsibility. If they choose to do it, that's great, but it's not their responsibility, and that's why a lot of these single women are having children. Okay. Because number one, you'll probably change your mind. In 2020, before I was out to my family and friends as someone who didn't want kids, I did what a lot of writers do. I wrote a thinly disguised novel. My first novel, Olive, is about a young woman who doesn't want kids and who feels on the periphery while all her friends are either mothers, pregnant, or trying. It can be a lonely place to be at times when you're suddenly feeling alienated from one of the biggest milestones of your friends' lives. When I was promoting the novel, I remember one interview with the female host who said, waving her hand, "Oh, I thought the same when I was your age. Now I have 2 beautiful children. Trust me, you will change your mind." It stings when someone diminishes your decision as being flippant or meaningless. And of course, this response is more about that person trying to project their life onto you. When a woman tells you what they want, try and believe them. And like I said before, this was a woman that said that to her, because most of the time it's women saying this stuff to other women. That's like all these tenets of misogyny. I'm telling you, most of it is, I'll take things that never happened for 500, Alex, because why is it that it's always the bridge trolls and the whales that always talk about misogyny when it comes to intersexual dynamics between men and women? Most of the time, it didn't happen because they're a whale. And second off, most of it, you're like, okay, that doesn't sound like something a man would do. That sounds like something another woman would do. You know what I'm saying? Okay, number 2, who's going to take care of you when you're old? This is a popular retort and assumes that by having a child, you are guaranteed someone to look after when you're old. Obviously, that is the ideal situation, and I am, of course, going to look after my own parents one day, as my parents did for theirs. But this isn't always the case. Kids can move away, people fall out, things change. It also assumes you'll be alone if you don't have kids, which is short-sighted. There are so many ways to build a loving family and friends supported network. 3, how will you fill your time? A beauty technician in Sephora who happened to be a mother of 3 waxed and dyed my eyebrows recently. Making small talk as she hovered inches from my face, she asked if I had kids. When I said that no, life with kids is not for me, she said, "Oh no, I hope you have enough to fill your life with because life is long." I found this a strange thing to say, even though I understand how a mother of 3 kids might feel like the world would be an empty void without them. Life doesn't feel that long to me, and plus, having things to fill my days is not a problem for me at all. Yesterday, I spent 5 hours writing a new novel in my garden, going for an outdoor swim at my local community pool, making a new recipe, and calling a friend. There are so many things to see, do, and read. Time flies, honestly, guys. This girl's probably socially awkward because people try to make conversation while you're in customer service. It's like this whole overused term, these microaggressions that B-dubs always talk about. People are trying to get to know people and trying to have a conversation, and you're gonna chalk everything up to, oh yeah, that small talk was offensive. When most of the time it's people who don't know how to have a conversation or won't put the energy towards having a conversation who are calling things microaggressions. If you think that you can be better at conversation, why don't you try stirring up a conversation sometime? You know what I'm saying? And I think that all this lady was doing was just making conversation while she was providing a service. You know. 4, so you're a career woman. I find this one condescending. I do happen to have a career I absolutely love and spend lots of time on, but I don't like the assumption that I must have chosen not to have kids because I am career obsessed. I have a beautiful, enriching personal life I enjoy. We don't need to put in such reductive either or categories. We are many shades in between. Shock horror. It's also possible to be a career woman and have kids. I feel giddy and excited at a life ahead of me without children. Okay. 5, do you not like children? Sometimes people assume I don't like kids and don't want to be around them. That I must be a grumpy cat lady who lives in a dark cave alone, because most of them are. Right? It says, I love children. I love how they encourage me to be more fun and playful. I love reading to my nephews. I love holding newborn babies. I want to make a positive impact on children's lives just in a different way. An auntie they can always call, someone to give advice, read them books, buy fun presents. I believe aunties and godparents, or whatever you want to call them, play an important role in society. 6, are you going to freeze your eggs just in case? Another stat, guys. If you freeze your eggs, you have a 9% chance of that egg of making it to a live birth. A 9% chance. Yo.
So that whole point about like, do you not like children? Like, I've lived my whole life. I've seen so many women who seem to, at best, be indifferent about children, like their children, or just straight up hate their children. Like,
yeah, I agree.
It's so sad that I've seen less people who like, oh, I like a child, I like my children, like I want them to have a better future, stuff like that. Like seriously, it's like, and there'll be the people who have the most children. I'm like, you could have just not have children.
Yep, I agree. And or those women who get the baby rabies, and they just have this this need to fulfill their body's purpose and have a kid, and then regret it. It's like, guys, baby rabies is a real thing. You guys ever had in your office where one girl gets pregnant, or you said one girl and a friend group gets pregnant, and then all of a sudden everybody was pregnant? It's real, guys. You guys remember that group of high school girls who made a baby pact,
Yes.
and all these white girls, and so there's like 4 girls, and 2 of them slept with the same freaking crazy homeless guy and got pregnant by him. So they were like, are their babies going to have mental health issues just like with the homeless guy? But they literally picked the homeless guy off the street and said, hey, do us and get us pregnant. God. Oh my God. It says, are you going to freeze your eggs? Such a personal question. This is something that I'm sure many women probably think about around a certain age, and it is an individual personal decision, and it isn't appropriate to ask. This question elicits a sense of panic and fear, which for me isn't welcome. Again, it's someone else projecting their fears onto you. 7, aren't you worried you won't experience true love? This has actually been said to me a few times now. Guys, this is all women saying this. Any of these phrases, can you imagine a man saying this to a woman? This is all women speak right here. All women speak. I've never asked a woman any of these questions. Have you guys in the chat, Rajai, 51, ever asked a woman any of these questions?
Hell to the no.
No.
Never.
Like what? Especially, I was going to make a comment about which number is this 7 about true love. I'm like, so the whole point of societies, like, making sure people got married and had children was never about true love. Like, when did this become a problem? It's like the whole point was, especially back then, because you needed children to help, work on the farm and stuff like that. It's like that's what, like, people were coming together to make family bonds. They didn't care necessarily like you're just upfront love and then like this true love like it's a Disney movie or something. Like that's the real problem.
Doug, have you seen that in China, the same thing is happening in China where men are refusing to marry women because they become so materialistic and selfish? Like there's a channel called China Unvarnished, and literally these women are being left to die because these men are so fed up with these women in China always asking for money and houses and cars and stuff like that. Like it's happening in other countries too.
And the craziest part about it is there's so many more men than women.
Yes.
You think that these women would have it made, but they're still single.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And
well,
go ahead.
Well, say these women, like, just look up China Unvarnished and watch these, especially the older Chinese women. They say the exact same things these American women. They're like, yeah, when I was younger and pretty, I had all these guys, but I wanted a 6'2" wealthy millionaire to marry me, and he never came along. But I'm not going to lower my standards. I'm not going to lower them. I believe I can find my man. And I'm like, even though I'm 47 years old.
But the thing about China is that China still has that Xinwu thing where you're like a leftover woman after 26.
Yes.
That's a real thing, guys.
Yes.
You know what's okay. During my master's program, I met this Russian girl. Well, I mean, I did more than meet her, but anyway, she is so bad. But she came to the United States. She was in her husband was in the military, and but she met him in Korea, and she was studying she was working for a company in Korea. So she spoke Russian, Korean, and English, right?
Damn.
And she was fine as hell. She was 28, and still in Russia to this day. If you're not married by the time you're like 25, 26, you're not going to get married because there's so many more Russian women than men. Because after World War II, guys remember, after 18 million Russian men died in World War II. So how that mail order bride thing came from Russia is there was like 20, 30 women per one man. So there are all these unmarried women. So like, I'd rather take my shot and go off to America or France or something than sit here and never have a family. But it's like that to this day. Russian men can just take their pick because there's so many more Russian women than Russian men. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, so it says, this has actually been said to me a few times now. It often feels like people are pitching having kids to me. They love their kids, so aren't I worried that I'm missing out on a fundamental part of human life? A big, all-consuming love that I'll never have. Women who have made the choice to not have kids are usually well aware of what they won't have, but they are also very aware of all the things they do have. There are many, many different types of love you can experience in one lifetime, which includes and aren't limited to sibling bonds, romantic love, close friendships, pets, and yes, even the love of your work or art. I don't think it's fair to assume that you won't experience love. I won't experience that certain type of parental love, but I'm okay with that. Okay, and guys, so she seems pretty sure that she's the one to have kids. I always say on my channel, guys, that most women say that they don't want kids because it's part of this female empowerment. I am woman. I control my own destiny, but it's all cope, guys. If you see a woman in her early to mid 20s and she says, I don't want kids, she's leaving out the second part of the sentence. I don't want kids until I have my bachelor's degree. I don't want kids until I have my master's degree. I don't want to have kids until I bought my house. I don't want to have kids until I make six figures. I don't want to have kids until I've gone to all the countries I want to go to. So Turks and Caicos and the Seychelles and France and all this stuff. And most women are going to cross enough of the things off their list that when they hit 35, 33 to 37, and they're staring at them, they're going to look towards having a child.
Doug.
I'm telling you guys. Yeah, yo, go ahead.
So, this is how I always say it. I think a lot of women want kids because, it's like a natural, instinctual desire that, we have is to mate. But a lot of them do not want to be parents. Like, they do not want to go through, like I say, the selflessness it is to, raise a child, make sure that you do things for them instead of doing stuff for you. Like, a lot of them are just selfish. Like, they just want to have kids, pretty much have kids like, like how people have like the little teacup poodles or whatever in their handbags or something. It's like, oh, I got a kid. It's like I'm a status, I'm a mom kind of crap. And that's why I say I'd rather people be child free than to have children, because it's like you'll ruin these children's lives. Like, you'll make them like pretty much go to their villain arc because of stuff like that.
Yep, I'm telling you, and mothers destroy their children, especially B-dubs. I've said it on my channel multiple times. 60 to 70% of black mothers are absolute scumbags. Scumbags, man. And they say, "Oh, Doug and PA, what about your mom?" You know what? My mom was a scumbag most of my life too. I used to wonder, why the heck did I get my mom? Why is she so terrible to me? And AJ and I told this multiple times. We had a mentorship group, like an informal one, where we used to mentor young African American and young African immigrant men, and all the African American boys, all their mothers were scumbags, every single one of them, because you can't tell them nothing. All this attitude. You see all these videos of their son is doing some crazy stuff, and then the black mother has to come in and yell and scream at everybody. It's freaking ridiculous, man.
My mom was awesome because she was a traditional woman. My father was the leader in the household, and She was submissive to him, and but she got, my dad loved her and listened to her because she was feminine, she was submissive, and so he listened to her. And so, I think these women don't understand that you don't have to be loud and aggressive to get what you want.
I have a saying on my channel, and you probably heard me say it. If you hear anyone else say it, if they got it from me, when men win, everyone wins. When women win, they win for themselves.
Yep.
And your mom understood. If my husband wins, I win.
Exactly.
If my husband wins, the kids win. And there's certain women who don't understand that, who just don't. And I
That's
have
a
no
great way to
idea
say
why.
it.
I always say that
Yeah.
women want to come out here and fight in the world of men, but if you find the right guy and treat him as with respect and dignity, he'll give you the world. He'll just give it to you. What are you fighting for?
Dude.
Rob Steer, good to see you, my friend. He says modern women don't need children. They are children. I agree 100%. I'm going to give him a round of applause. No truer words have ever been said.
Doug, I tell women all the time, sorry to cut you off. I
Yes.
said, all you have to do is be good to a man and your life will be perfect. That's all you have to do is be good to a man, be selfless, give to a man, love a man. That's all you have to, and they can't do it, Doug. They can't do it.
Yep. And the crazy part about it is all the stuff that women say that they don't want to do for a man. I'm never going to cook for a man. I'm never going to clean for a man. You have to do that for yourself, whether he's there or not. So what is the difference between doing it for yourself and your kids and doing it for a man? And also, there are plenty of things that their boss will tell them to do at work that they'll do, but they won't do what their husband says.
And they get mad about, like, they'll pay 100% of their bills, but when a man comes along and says, I'll pay half your bills, they don't want that. It's like, so you want to continue paying 100% of your bills? Which do you want? Do you want to pay 100% of your bills? Or do you want to pay half of it?
Yeah. On my channel, I always say, I take the Kevin Samuels route. Guys, put yourself in a position where you can pay 100% of the bills, because one day you just might have to.
Agreed.
You've heard me say this before. Women reserve the right to change their minds about everything. Their job, if their job gets too stressful, they want to quit. Having kids, you'll be with a woman, she didn't want kids, all of a sudden she gets baby rabies. 50-50. You'll be with a woman who is perfectly fine going 50-50 until a child is born, or her job is terrible. Then she's gonna get mad at you for not putting yourself in a position where you can pay all the bills. Put yourself in a position where you can pay all the bills. Also, guys, don't date a woman who makes more money than you, and don't move in with a woman. Never, ever, guys. Ever. Yep, Raven Knight says, my money is my money. His money. Yeah, because that is a trap that modern women want modern men to fall into. Because when I was married, I fell into this. My money was the house money, so I paid all the bills. And then my ex-wife, because she wanted to be independent in a relationship, felt entitled to keep all of her money, and my dumbass let her do it. Let her do it. I don't know what that girl spent her money on, guys. I don't know what she spent her money on. What's up, buddy?
Oh, I think I said this in last stream, but I'm like, well, if you want your money for yourself, then all the items you are buying, I don't have to buy you anything. It's like, I don't need to buy you presents. I don't need to help you fix your car. I don't like anything that's specific to her. If that's her money is spent on her then. It's like, if you want to go out on a restaurant, you can spend that too.
Yeah, I agree. Raven Knight, good to see you, my friend. Make sure to like the stream, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment if you're listening to it after the fact. And my super chat goal for the stream is $10. So if you're feeling generous, hit that super chat button. I'd appreciate it. And let's see what this girl has to say.
Oh, Doug, before you get in there, I just want to make a quick comment. You should also merch the, like when men win, they win for everybody quote that you say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
You know
merch
what? I'll
that.
do that.
That's a great
That'll be-
idea.
Yeah, that'll be the first shirt or mug I come out with, because I've been saying
And then
that for
like
years, man. And if
yeah,
you look back,
definitely merch that.
if you look back on certain people's streams, because guys, I've said this multiple times. AJ convinced me to start posting videos, but before I started posting videos, I've helped some of your favorite red pillars that are big now. I helped them as they were building their channels, like writing scripts for shows, writing questions and stuff like that, kind of like strategy behind the scenes. If you go back to, I'm not going to name names, but if you go back to certain people's streams, you could tell when I was working with them because they were saying that saying. Anyway, let's get into this
Oh
one.
yeah. And Doug, also, sorry about that. Also, make sure to merch the 7 degrees that are worthless.
Oh yeah, say it with me, guys. What are the 7 degrees that women get that aren't worth the paper they're printed on?
Communications.
Psychology, sociology, social work, psychology, sociology, social work, criminal justice, some kind of studies degree, so gender studies, African American studies, communications, education.
Yep.
It's a one-way trip to being broke the rest of your life.
Well, Doug, I work in higher ed, right? And what I realize is they got these degrees because they thought they were going to have a husband. They thought they were going to have somebody to take up the slack when they got through. Like they didn't think about get what kind of job they could get. They just did it, and they thought men were going to just be there to protect them at the end.
Yeah, and bail them out, because I always say that the 2 reasons on all my student loan debt videos, the 2 reasons why women go to these high price institutions is, one, they don't think that they're ever going to have to pay it back because it's going to get forgiven or something like that, or 2,
Right.
one of us is going to swoop in and save them and help them pay it off. So once again, this goes back to, you're paying the bills and then she has to pay her student loan off. So you guys are broke. And you guys have seen all the stories I've seen where the average professional woman who has a master's degree or above is over $98,000 in student loan debt. If a woman has a law degree, she's $170,000 in student loan debt. It is insane. All right, so we listen, we don't judge child-free women.
We listen, but we don't judge. Child-free woman edition.
Okay, look at the struggle weave. Look at all the makeup and the filter on her face, guys. Come on now.
The most.
Aha! Amy Banger beat me to it. I can't tell where her forehead ends. It's guys. I'm telling you, you see all this makeup, the struggle weave, the nose ring, and what do you think to yourself, guys?
Just like a woman.
That's what I think. Let's go.
Serious, whatever reason that you have chosen to be child free. And if you already have a child, you can also comment or stitch this video saying why you don't want to have another child. So I'm going to go first. I'm vain. I care a lot about my body. I don't want to have a child because I don't want to have stretch marks. I don't want a child because I know that once my body changes, I will hate my life. I will hate my body. I also don't want to have a child because I'm selfish and I'm stingy. I don't want to share my time or money with anyone. Another reason, I hate the world that we live in. If I have a daughter, she will be under scrutiny for how she looks. She will be the object of a predatory man's desire, okay? And she will face a large amount of oppression. And she will.
You knew that was coming, guys, because she's a B-dub. B-dubs are the strongest, most independent women, but the biggest victims in the United States. We're so strong and independent, but we're so oppressed in the male gaze, and men are so terrible. Which one is it? Which one is it? The same women saying, "Oh, men are terrible," and the male gaze. Oh, why don't men buy me drinks anymore? Why don't men approach me anymore? You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth.
Will be black, so she's going to have double the amount of oppression if I have a girl. If I have a boy, he's going to be her oppressor. On a
Oh my God! Did you hear that? What? Oh my God! Wait, what?
the amount of oppression if I have a girl. If I have a boy, he's going to be her oppressor.
Oh my goodness!
Jesus H. Christ.
Tell you, most black women hate their children, guys. They hate them. Absolutely hate them.
Doug, I really think social media has driven these women insane. I'm not being funny. I think they're insane.
Crazy, guys. It is insane. Because the thing about it is yeah. Okay. I'm gonna bounce off of that by saying, guys, what do I always say the biggest problem with modern 304s is? Put in the chat what the biggest problem with modern 304s. Rage a Gamer, what is the biggest problem with modern 304s?
They're losers, but it's social media.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, what when you picture a loser, right? You picture a man living in his mom's basement playing Xbox and eating Cheetos. What is the female word for a woman that's a loser? Where you picture a woman?
I mean, a lot of them
There
with like the
isn't one.
femtail.
There isn't one. We gotta come up with one, guys, because there's so many female losers out there. Themselves, losers, broke, in debt. Yeah. The Whiteout says a Spencer. That means a cat lady, but you have to be old to be a spinster. A woman can be a loser all through her life. You know what I'm saying? Logan Blackwood, long time no see, my friend. He said biggest problem with modern 304s is they think that ladies and the top 1% of men are not good enough for them, despite not qualifying for any men for marriage once you're a son. I agree. 51, the biggest problem with modern 304s. Oh, he's not there. I always say the biggest problem with modern 304s is they can't keep their mouth shut. They have to put everything on social media, guys. Things that women in the past would never, ever, ever say. They put on social media for public consumption. If a woman was a 304 in college, her future husband was never going to know about it. They would she giggle to her friends about it, but she'd never say it out loud. If she had a child out of wedlock, most people wouldn't know. All the most negative parts of female behavior are posted all over online.
Facts.
I would say
Doug.
Brittany Renner is a beautiful woman. And if you were to say that if you got the opportunity to smash, you wouldn't smash, most of us would. I know I would, but I'm not going to go anywhere near because you can't be around that girl. You can't sleep with her. You can't be in a relationship with her, and you can't marry her. Why? Because she puts everything on social media. If you marry that woman and she gets a divorce, even when you're married to her, your relationship will be content. You gotta stay away from women who can't stop talking on social media. Go ahead.
Oh, so I'm gonna make 2 points. Like one, I'm always so surprised like Taylor Swift gets into new relationships because almost all of her songs are just pretty much her bad mouthing her previous boyfriends.
That's so true. It's true. But hey, you know what? I gotta get. But Taylor Swift though, she'll write songs about breakups, but she'll never say anything bad about her exes in interviews or on social media. Any of that. I mean, some of the greatest songs ever written. I mean, we have a whole genre called the blues about breakups. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with with
Yeah, but I would hate to be like a catchy song that people are gonna be singing for years.
well, you know what's the worst. Of well, to me, the most famous breakup song of my generation is that "You Oughta Know" by freaking Alanis Morissette.
Hmm.
You remember that song?
Yes, yes, I do.
Do you know who that song was about?
Isn't that like what is Uncle Joey's name from Full House? Isn't that about him?
Dave Coulier from freaking
Yeah, yeah, it was about him.
from
Like, yeah,
Full
I know
House.
that.
What? Are you
Like,
serious?
I swear to God, dude, they broke up and she wrote that song. Because even he's like, dang, that song was about me, and everybody knows that song. God dang.
Yeah, and see, that's why I hate because like I love Dave Coulier, his voice work and acting. I'm like, yeah, and I will remember that. I remember that song, so like it's always going to be tied to him.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with freaking breakup songs. As long as it's just a general breakup song. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather have someone write a breakup song about me than freaking air us out on to Vogue or Essence magazine in an interview. You know what I'm saying? K Francis said, "What about to the Left by Destiny's Child?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, but like Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill albums has sold like 40 million copies though.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. 40
But Doug,
million copies. Huh?
but Doug, I wanted to say I agree with you about you cannot date people that put their whole lives on social media. You cannot do that because it is just insane. And I literally watch these women where I live in North Carolina, and they literally cannot take 3 steps without taking a picture of themselves or their food, or like it's just insane. Like they cannot go 5 steps without taking a picture and posting it online.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos about the death of nightclubs? How
Yep.
they're getting rid of more and more dance floor and putting sections
Yep.
for guys to get bottle service, and girls will sit in the section and then go out to the dance floor during a certain song to take a video of themselves
Yep.
and their friends, and then go back to the section. Yeah. Yep. Colonel Buckshot, good to see you. Raven, not good to see you. Michael, good to see you guys. Yeah, that's why clubs are dying, because all women do is you can't even. The sad part about it is you can't even approach a woman at a club anymore. Where are you supposed to approach a woman if you can't approach a woman in a bar or a club, guys? The whole club industry.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, guys. It's over. And you know what? I say freaking online dating.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
I'm telling you guys, go to Coffee Meets Bagel, Bumble, all these sites, and all of their paid subscriptions are like half off. You pay 1/3 right now because no one's on them anymore. Yeah, yeah. He
Duh.
said it. Men just aren't dating. No, men just aren't doing it. What's that?
And they essentially have ruined it through all these laws that you can't really meet anybody at work. You can't meet anybody
Hold on,
in
real quick,
like college.
real quick. Before 2005, 60% of people met at work. Not anymore. Go ahead.
Yeah, like you can't like in colleges you can't really meet anybody because you have so many legal hoops you can be like you can just be destroyed.
Yep.
Like there's times it's like, oh yeah, like this person seemed like they might be nice, but like, well, I mean, I need to finish up my degree. I can't worry about being put through this kangaroo court.
Yep. You know what? Her and I had sex on freshman year, but she decided to withdraw consent senior year, and I'm screwed. Telling you guys, stay away. And all the guys watching this in college, keep your head down. Study, watch the hub every once in a while, and keep to yourself. You can't be messing around with these college girls. Matt Araiza, the punter from the freaking Buffalo Bills. Remember what happened to him? Or that one pitcher who lost 2 years of his career because that woman wanted to get the bag and freaking accused him. Pyro, good to see you, my friend. All right, let's get into this.
Oh, Doug, I want to just mention one quick thing.
Go ahead.
I found it funny that this person said, like, oh, she has a boy, then it's just going to be an oppressor. And I'm like, well, wouldn't that kind of be your fault?
It would be. And Rajai, why do women like this even want men? Why? If you hate men that much, or you see them as oppressors, what does she want a man for?
So, Doug, it's probably because of the whole status thing. It's like there's so many things that they're essentially just designer bags for people. It's like, oh, I have the status of being a girlfriend. I have the status of being a wife. I have a status of being a mother. They really don't necessarily care about the statuses. It's just like, oh, I look good. It's like I'm trying to get enough points, like in a pageant or something. It's like, oh, I got the most statuses. I won.
Yeah, I agree. And remember, women want there's social creatures and they have to have stuff to talk about. Guys, I waited tables at the Cheesecake Factory for 3 years, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is pretty much dead. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Or so most of the time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is wives dragging their husbands out there. But Fridays are date nights, Saturdays are date nights, and then Sundays are like brunch. So the women want to have brunch. But most of the time, women wanted to go to the Cheesecake Factory. So on Monday morning, they can tell all their friends, oh, we went to the Cheesecake Factory this weekend. All friends like, oh my God, you went to the Cheesecake Factory. Women do things. I'm dead serious, guys. I'm dead serious. Women or guys, story time. We're gonna get back in this video in a second. I went on a second date with this girl. We went to a freaking book convention. Guys, it was awful. So awful. It was one of the worst days of my life. It was one of the worst. I'm like, what am I doing here? Why would you take a man to, and that's my fault because I went. You ever, Pyro, Pyro, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You ever have a woman who says, "Oh, let's go to a jazz festival"? Come on.
Hell
She actually
no.
likes jazz, guys. Come on now. Come on. You want to tell her?
No.
Oh, you
Never.
like jazz, huh? Liar! You don't like jazz. Get out of here. I'm telling you. Let's go to a jazz festival. Let's go on a hike. Let's go to I had a woman. She didn't even have in Rockville, Maryland. They have a bar where they have like an outside bar, and it's like a dog park, so you can bring your dog with you. She didn't even have a dog, but she wanted us to eat at a restaurant that had a dog park so she can look at the dog. I was like, what is going on, guys? What is going on? Women will just drag you to do all this stuff just because. And also, they'll do it during one of your favorite activities. You want to watch football at 11:30 on Sunday. Hey, let's go do a hike on Saturday. When at 11:30. Now, you know I'm watching the game. I know, but if you really love me, you go hiking instead of watching football. Rajai Gamer, if you really loved her, you go to the jazz festival instead of playing your video games.
So,
Women,
Doug,
guys.
if it was a really good jazz festival, then I would be going.
Bro,
but yeah, it's like, I'm not gonna like if I'm up here really want to be playing games and like that's the only time I could do it. That ain't happening,
bro. 95% of modern women can't even spell jazz, let alone listen to it. These women, they look because their friends will be having conversations about what's handy, what's trendy, and what's hip, or she'll be reading a magazine or looking and be like, "Ooh, I want to do that." It's out of nowhere, and they come up with stuff like, "How did you even come up with that?" Well, first off, you're thinking, "Why do you want me to go?" And second off, you're thinking, "How'd you come up with that?"
She wants you to pay.
It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. Freaking women, I swear to God. All right, let's get back into this.
aspect, I don't want to deal with postpartum depression. Postpartum depression has ruined the lives of many women, okay? It has made them hate themselves, okay? It has made them hate their partners. It has made them damn near almost hate their own children because mentally, with all the hormones and everything that's happening to a woman's body, it's not good. Like, it's not good for any woman to go through that. And it's also statistically proven that once you have a child, you earn less money, okay?
Okay, Francis, that can't be right. Are you serious? I'm gonna look for that right now.
We live in a society that does not want or appreciate women that have children, and yet they're telling you that they want you to have children just so that they can pay you in the favor of not appreciating you and having you earn less so that you struggle more and you have a more unfavorable life. I don't care how bad any of that sounds, okay? I literally work with patients, okay, for a living where I have to see this, I have to hear the stories, I have to be closely involved with this demographic of people. No, thank you. The more you know, the more informed decisions you can make. So don't be scared. It's a safe space over here. We listen, we don't judge. Why don't you want to have children or have another child? Let me know.
Guys, this is one of those girls. Watch, because she looks like. I mean, it's hard to tell with all this stuff all over her face and this long forehead. There's you never have to worry about you never have to worry about a parking spot when you have her around. You can just park your car on her forehead, right?
Because you know
Yeah.
what she look like? She look like Sid, wife from Monster Incorporated.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, she's gonna be one of those baby rabies. 35 guys. Watch. 35 years old. She's gonna be like, I want to have a kid. Where are all the good men? Blah blah blah. She's setting herself up for that. Women who truly don't want kids never really talk about it. The ones who are the most vehemently against it and have to talk about it get the baby rabies right around 33 to 37. While I'm switching videos, Pyro, what do you think about modern women being child free?
Well, as long as there's no bastard kids that would just like shank me or try to steal my car.
Yep, I agree. 100%. 100%. Jessica in the house is child free is a synonym for I failed to attract a husband. I'm gonna give him a round of applause because no truer words have ever been said. Joseph says she got that avatar forehead. God, you guys are brutal. Oh no! All right, this one right
To
here.
my child free girl.
So I think that this girl is actually pretty funny, but we'll see.
So this is just to my child free girlies, right? How many of you guys notice a difference when your best friend or one of your close relatives or someone announces that they're pregnant, and you want to be happy for them, but you kind of know that the relationship, the friendship is pretty much about to go downhill. And so do you bail first or do you just let them bail? Because in most cases, there are exceptions to this rule, obviously, but in most cases, with most child-free women, we notice that the friendship pretty much dies after they have kids because
And it should. It should. All my friends who had children, I pretty much expected them to talk. We just talk to them like 4 or 5 times a year, and that was it. Now, I did have a friend who had a kid, and he messed up because AJ moved away, and he didn't go to AJ's going away party, and we went way back. So I mean, if your friend drops off because they have a kid and you don't, they still have to maintain a minimum amount of communication, and also there are
Yes.
certain events that they can't miss.
I mean,
So
at least you should talk to them. At least.
I'd say twice a month if they have if they have young kids, twice a month. If their kids are in
Yeah.
school, like 3 times a month, stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
young kids are no joke, man. Especially guys. There was an article, and I might do a live stream on it that says that, ladies, after you have your child, you will hate your husband. That's literally what the article said. And that girl that was talking about postpartum, guys, I'm sorry, man. I don't believe in postpartum. I don't. We give.
Yeah.
Remember, women are allowed to express their full range of emotions, and men are not. Women
Doug,
shame you for expressing your emotions, and men do too. Women have a license to be able to say what they want, whatever they want, and blame it on their freaking hormones. And it's funny how they can keep their hormones in check at work when their freaking paycheck is on the line, but they won't keep them in check for you. And one last thing, my grandma, my mom's mother, had 9 kids, right? And each day she had the first 4 in a barn, right? And was working the plow on the farm with her husband up until her water broke. And then her stuff healed up and she was back out there working the farm. Postpartum. Get the mess out of here, man.
That's just like a woman.
Postpartum. You serious? All right, go ahead, Rachel.
Doug. So nice that you actually got the sound clip for Skeletor.
I told you I would.
And 2, like I'm pretty sure I've said this multiple times. It's like I think the only reason that postpartum actually started happening is that we've given so much attention now than ever to women just for having babies. Like, we have all these parties and stuff for them. We have to make registries and stuff. And then like as soon as they have the baby, all that attention vanishes and they can't stand it.
Yeah, it's true. Because then, Rachel, there are B-dubs who love getting pregnant because being pregnant is the first time in their lives that they were ever treated like a lady. Everyone is, getting up for them and letting them sit in their seat, or people who are willing to help them financially, or do whatever. What feminine women get most of their lives, B-dubs only get when they are pregnant. Awful. Isn't that sad? I'm telling you, man. Women have no idea how easy life can be if they just acted like women. The most underutilized resource for modern women are good men. But you can't attract and keep a good man if you act like a Doberman all the time.
I think these corporations and stuff also are working to keep people separate, because then you have people paying, 2 mortgages instead of 1 mortgage, or a mortgage and a rent, compared to a couple living together. So they encourage these women to go out and get their own house and get their own apartment rather than live with somebody, because it means more money for these companies out here.
I said it multiple times. The average professional woman spends more on consumer goods than the average family of 4.
Exactly.
If a man is in a woman's life, she will spend just all of her money all the time. That's why so many modern women are broke. They're just broke. And the biggest thing, see, we're finally getting out of the materialistic women where they're spending money on, like a B-dub will be perfectly fine driving around a 2017 Altima. But what's getting women in the spending department is experiences. 85% of solo travelers out of the United States are women. So what Gen X women spent on handbags and shoes and stuff, young millennial women and Gen Z are spending money on travel.
Doug.
Mm-hmm.
So like how 51 was talking about, keeping us separate. This is what I was this is what I was saying about when you had the stream about like the no spin, how like that's not going to happen because they're essentially encouraged to spend money. That's exactly the reason. It's like they know that women, like they have been advertising to women. What did you say? Like until at least 1940 or probably 1920 or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. You see that clip of Andrew Wilson where he said, women weren't able to have credit cards and stuff, and they're like, yeah, because women couldn't have a bank account. It's because society prevented women from getting into debt. A woman could spend all the household's money, and it was all in her husband's name. Then all of a sudden, women can get bank accounts and credit cards, and now women own the most debt. Gee, I wonder how that happened. Anyway, let's get back to this woman about talking about losing her friends.
They have to go be a mommy. You know, they have to be a mommy and stuff, and they have to do the mommy thing. And now all of a sudden, you really don't want to invite them places because every time you've ever
Raven Knight says Joker should have been a female Batwoman, would have never stood a chance.
invited them, they always said they couldn't do it, either because they never had any money or they didn't find a babysitter or something like that. And it just slowly just died down after a while. And it happened to several of your friends over the years or whatever. And so you just kind of come to accept the fact that a lot of the times, not all the times, but most of the time, for most child-free women, you notice that it just starts to die down. The second part to this, they just started loading my truck just now.
Oh, she's a truck driver. I'm like, what is this whole thing? What's going on? But I should have known with a tattoo on her forearm right there.
The second part to this is, do you back off? Do you dip? Or do you allow them to dip? Because deep down, you know that you are not the village. Now, I want you to think about that for a second, right? And when I say you're not the village, I mean, you ain't finna be babysitting. Like, you know that you got your own life. You got a job. You got the careers. You got hobbies. You got things you're doing every day. And you don't want to be close enough to the situation. To some degree, you miss them and you love them and you want the best for them. But at the same time, you really don't want to be too close to the situation because you really don't want them asking you to babysit.
See, and that's the thing. A lot of these women, they'll get pregnant and the guy says, I don't want to have the baby. We can't afford it. I barely know you. I don't even know your last name. Oh, but it'll be great. We'll have a baby. And even if he's not going to be there, I'm going to have my village around me. Guys, most of the women who were at a modern women's baby shower are not going to be there to help her with her child. Not going to happen. So all these women, oh yeah, we'll support you, girl. You can do it. You can do it. We'll be here for you. And they're thinking just like this. And the baby will be crying at 2:00 in the morning. She'll be strung out, and she'll try to call all of her friends, and they'll be like, I'm sorry, this number has been disconnected. I'm telling you, the sisterhood is an absolute joke.
I can't be the only one. Like, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. So I want you guys to chime in and let me know how many of us are out there. Please. I am not the village. And as bad as that may sound, you know, I chose not to have kids for a reason. I don't want to babysit. And to be honest,
you're a beat up truck driver. I'm glad you're not having any kids. You know what I'm saying? Come on, a beat up truck driver. Yikes.
The biggest fear that I have with that is that something will happen to your kid and you will blame me for it, or I'll be sued for it, or, you know, I'll have criminal charges brought against me, even though I would know something wasn't my fault. And the courts will see it differently. Like, for an example, last year I was thinking about getting a trampoline, but I didn't get it because I was scared that a lot of the kids in the neighborhood would want to jump on my trampoline. Not only do I not want them jumping on my trampoline because kids tear stuff up, and I'm somebody who has a lot of nice things, and I cannot, like, somebody breaking a champagne glass of mine just literally burns my blood, right? So I'm one of those people that's like, please don't break that, right? So not only do they tear stuff up, but if any of them hurt themselves and they decided to take me to court or something, I could be sued.
And that will happen too. It will happen. We live
Doug,
in a litigious society. 1 second, hold on. Joseph, good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Tell us your general opinion on child-free modern women. Are you for it? Are you for women having more kids, less kids? How do you feel about it?
I actually know someone personally who is child free. She's mid 30s by choice. She wants to be. I actually try to convince her that she would actually make a really good mother. Um, in this case, I know someone would say, "Oh, well, those who don't want kids, they should probably not have kids." But there are some women who, at least in my case, the ones that I know, they who don't want kids for whatever reason, society told them not to have kids. They're on birth control. Or they have these, I guess, liberal ideologies. They've been convinced that these otherwise healthy women, not just physically, are able to have kids, but also mentally and emotionally should have kids. They've been, in my opinion, tricked into not having children, which I think is is a detriment to society, as opposed to women who want to have children who really have no business having.
Uh, how old? How old is your friend?
She's 33.
If she can make it to 38 without wanting to have kids, she'll be fine. But she's still in that I don't want kids because I want to be able to say it loud and proud to show that I'm in control of my own destiny. You know, the power of a woman. But I'm telling you, man, when it hits 35, man, because here's the thing. There's a difference between I have a couple of my female friends who had a hysterectomy. And the stat, like when women have to have a hysterectomy, they're just crushed because there's a difference between choosing not to have a children and when you can't have children as a woman,
Mm.
right? So a lot of women take into consideration that biological wall, and they get this need to just fulfill what their body was made for. So she's still saying that now when she's 33, but don't be surprised, man. Right around 35, when the doctor starts having to have the conversation with them about high risk pregnancy and stuff like that, because doctors will literally say, do you want to have children? Because if you do, you might want to get one in real quick. And I have a term called buzzer beaters, guys. If you
Oh,
are if you are a single, successful, tall man, especially a black man, you'll reach 33 to 37, and you'll women between the age of 33 and 37, and they want to slide in a kid real quick, and they'll want you to freaking impregnate them. And you you can always tell because you'll be out on a date with them, and they'll be looking you up and down like, ooh, this one's good. And then
yeah.
you'll take them home on a date, and they'll want you to raw dog it on the first date.
This is true. This has
Has that
happened to
happened
me
to you
for.
guys? Any of you guys? Has that happened?
This is
It's
before I even knew what their age was. I just assumed, they're adults. And then when I felt like, well, this is odd, and then you dig a little deeper, and oh, I'm late 20s on early 30s. I was like, oh, but you look younger. But I never really understood. Like, why would you want to do that with a stranger? I just met you, and you don't.
Pearl
And you just want
Davis.
to do all. It's crazy.
Pearl Davis in the house watching my show.
That-
Pearl is the
That's not the
best.
real one. That's
Yes, it
not the
is.
real one, is it?
Yes, it is. That's a real Pearl. Yep. Her and I go way back, man. I've been a mod on her channel since she only had like 12,000 subs. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
dang, she's
Yep.
still.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay,
her
she's
for
showing
real.
love. That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, man. What were you saying?
No, that was it.
Yeah. Anyone else have that happen to you where, all of a sudden you meet some girl between the age of 33 and 37, and she looks you up and down, and then it doesn't matter what you say. She just acts like you're the funniest person ever, and then she wants you to take her home and raw dog it. Anyone?
Well, maybe not that old. It's usually like late 20s to early 30s. I haven't had the mid 30s to late 30s. I won't even entertain. I don't personally find them very attractive physically at that age, because I can get much younger women attracted to me. So late 20s, early 30s is when they exhibit that erratic behavior. Where I consider it to be erratic.
It
It's
is.
you want to have sex with a man, and I just kind of just met you, or I barely know you, and without like it's blows my mind. But it's typically that age range where they exhibit that type of behavior.
Yep, it's true. fastest growing group of single mothers, 33 to 37. Digital Bobby, good to see you. It's all these child-free girls turn to drinking alcohol. Guys, I covered women drinking the other day. Women are drinking more than men, binge drinking more than men. Go on TikTok and type in hashtag mom juice. It's how these moms justify going through a bottle of wine every single night. It's crazy, guys. It is
Oh
crazy
yeah,
out
Doug. I hate that. Like all these moms that just drink, especially while they're with their children. That's just child endangerment. Like, what's up with that?
there. It's because remember, modern women are empowered to be like men, but they're not held accountable. And this goes to every single part of life. Every single part of life. Drinking, substance abuse, freaking, putting their all. They want to. A lot of women think that adopting the negative aspects of men is being masculine. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. So anyway, let's get back to this girl here.
They'll be like, it happened on your property. I've seen this happen to too many people, and I just thought it was so unfair. But that's the law. And so because that's the law, your kids are not allowed in my house because I just don't want to deal with that. I don't want to take
At least she's honest, guys, because she sounds like a man that doesn't want kids.
time to have to
Doug.
watch them and make sure they're not sticking.
Yo, go ahead.
How she's talking about not having a trampoline. You can actually put cages around, like put like what you say, like gating around the trampoline, so like you can only lock and key in that stuff on that.
Or you can have it in your backyard with a gate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like put some gating around that, so she wouldn't have to worry about the liability stuff.
Yeah, but if she doesn't have any kids, what does she need a trampoline for?
I mean, I don't know why she specifically wants a trampoline, but I mean, just for stuff like that. Like I've seen it plenty of time. People have like essentially like a whole fence around their trampoline when it's
Yeah.
outside. I mean,
Yeah.
like a pool. It's like you need fencing around that so people don't just wander in and drown.
Yeah, I just don't see why she even needs one in the first place without children. And I don't like trampolines anyway. I was bounced on a trampoline, inebriated. I was smashed. I fell off the trampoline and broke my leg. So I stay
Yikes.
away from trampoline. I was an idiot, guys. I was 23, and one of my friends had turned 21. So we went downtown, got wasted, and we used to get on his roof and jump off the roof onto the trampoline, and I don't even know how I made it onto the roof. But yeah, I jumped off, and then like I hit this. I didn't hit the center where you bounce up. I hit the kind of the side part and hit the. You ever been so far up in the air that you start waving your arms like Wile E. Coyote?
Oh.
Hit my leg, broke my leg, man. So I stay away from trampolines, man. Straight up, that was a tough lesson I had to learn.
Doug.
Yo.
So I rarely drink, but I always make sure to drink in the most controlled spaces possible, so nothing like that could ever happen to me.
Oh, okay. Okay. B Stan says, would you be in support of men 11 years old getting a reversible vasectomy, and then why they get older and want to have children, they can reverse it? See, I don't think that anyone should be forced to have a surgery. I think that there should be a male birth control. And a lot of these women are like, if men had to take birth control, you'd be surprised. A lot of men, especially a lot of men worth a dang, would take male birth control. And I'm to the point now when feminists say we should give all men vasectomy. You know what? Hey, you know what? Let's do it. Whatever. Because here's the thing about it. Women know not what they do. They know not what they do. Men control access to relationships and sex. You want us to control access to whether a kid is born?
Oh, that would be the worst.
Because
decision they would ever make in their entire
because think about this, guys.
life.
You have a man and a woman. The man is taking birth control. Honey, I think that we should have a kid. Okay, honey. He's shooting up the club every single night, raw dogging it, and nothing's happening. I can't get pregnant. Why not? I don't know, honey. I don't know. Every day he keeps his birth control in his truck, and when he has his morning coffee, he takes his freaking birth control. You can't stop a man from taking birth control. You can't stop a man from if he gets a vasectomy to reverse it. The birth rate would plummet if there was an approved male birth control or men got vasectomies. So women know not what they do when they say, "Oh, all men should get vasectomies." Do you really want that? Because how could you make a man? You can meet the man of your dreams, ladies. He does everything right for you. Everything. He's romantic, 6 foot tall, has a kid. No. I'm sorry. Romantic, 6 foot tall, loves kids, great family. But then he had a vasectomy, and he doesn't have to get it reversed. You ladies know not what you do when you say this crap. Whenever feminists bring this up, I say, you know what? I'm all for it. Let's try it. I'm dead serious, guys. Because women would have to convince men to reverse a vasectomy, and most men aren't going to do that. They're not going to. And it's never going to happen because our system is too reliant on men being loose with their seed.
Yeah.
Doug,
Uh-huh.
the real problem is not that many men actually have access to women in the first place. So to to be honest, it's like what maybe the most like really Chads, Pookies, Ray Rays and stuff would be taking such, birth control. I mean, it might help for like the one or two guys that, the few guys that, people are trying to trap. But, outside of that, it's like a lot of guys, their whole birth control is that they're not getting it.
Yeah, 100%. Horse Pusher, good to see you. He says they know if they gave men the power, it would be game over. Pearl Davis in the house. How are you, my friend? You were on mute. Unmute yourself.
Hi, Doug.
How you doing?
I love
Go
your
ahead.
show. I listen to it all the time.
Thank you, my friend. How your show was really, really good earlier too, guys. Pearl had a great show about friends and people being alone. I don't have a lot of friends because I have high standards for my friends, and a lot of people can't meet them. And also, I'm a twin. AJ and I were both very successful, and so if I don't have any friends, I always have a twin. And then, so make sure to check out Pearl's show earlier about friends. It was really, really good. What do you think about this whole child-free modern women thing, Pearl?
Okay, so I first have a question, and then what are your standards for your friends? Because that was a response that I heard a lot, and I was just curious, like from your perspective, like what are your requirements?
Okay, so okay, guys. Doug and PA, I'm petty, man. I live that petty life. I'm not joking. I talked to some people that I knew when I was younger that they used to be friends, but I only talked to them to see how bad their life is going. Right? Because if you're from the middle class, 70% of people are in the middle class, right? So when you're in the middle class, lower to upper, you have to choose to be successful because you have options, right? And most of the people that grew up in your same neighborhood, I say 70%, came to the same forks in the road that you came. So you could have had a child out of wedlock. I chose not to. They chose to. They could have gone to school. They chose not to. I chose to. So I know people who I know they say they came to the same forks in the road I did, but made different choices, right? So people that have followed my similar path, because people that have followed your similar path, You can relate to them. It's why people in the military like talking to other military people, or it's hard to date someone who hasn't gone to college if you've gone to college. So I think the best compliment you can do for a friend is hold them to the same standards you hold yourself. So my standards are the same I have for myself. I want my friends have to be productive. If they have children, they have to be married, so no children out of wedlock. They have to maintain the minimum amount for us to be able to be friends. So let's talk on the phone at least, once or twice a month at least. Just things like that. Like what are your life choices? I'm not friends with people that made stupid life choices. I'm not friends with freaking s S offenders, felons, baby mamas. I'm not friends with any of those. It depends on your decisions. So those are the kind of people I'm friends with.
So, question I thought of: is it okay if they're in like long-term relationships and have a kid? Because that kind of seems to be. Oh, really? Even with the whole marriage laws and stuff.
So I don't have any friends right now who have kids and aren't married. That are together. I do have friends. Well, I have people on the list of people I still talk to who I like to see how bad their life is going, who have kids, but they're not with anybody. They're like single parents. But like in general, right now, I don't have any friends who, or I have friends who are divorced and have kids. But in general, right now, I don't have any friends who have had kids out of wedlock. I just don't.
Okay, I was
I
just
have a question
curious.
for you in relation to Pearl. It might be putting your feet to the fire a bit, but would you consider Pearl a friend, and if so, why?
Wait, would I consider Pearl a friend?
Right, and if
Of
so,
course I
why?
would. Look, here's the thing. I love music, right? And I love when musicians create their own lane. Michael Jackson created his own lane. Prince created his own lane. Pearl Davis created her own lane on YouTube and in this whole red pill space. I was there from the beginning. Pearl said that she was going to do this whole thing, and she actually did it. Pearl and I used to talk before she got here, and she got here. Pearl works harder than almost anyone I know. She sticks to her guns. She's cool as hell in person. Like I just feel, and if you knew how this YouTube space works, there are people that are trying to be like Pearl, but she can never be duplicated.
Thanks, Doug.
You're welcome, my friend. I'm telling you, Pearl's always been a good person to.
I was
She's
I
fantastic.
was one of the YouTubers he would give questions to. I'll say it. he has such good your shows are so good, Doug. Truly.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I wish I would have started this earlier, like pretty much when you got started. But I'm not gonna lie, guys. AJ and I we both didn't think that people would listen to us because of my stutter, right? But then I saw Fresh from Fresh and Fit, and I'm like, bro, if he can do it, because what pisses me off the most about him is that I took speech therapy from first grade to 12th grade, so I know what I have to do. But Fresh is in speech impediment denial, and that's why he sounds so bad. And it really pisses me off because I have a stutter. So like I just want to tell him like you know what you're supposed to be doing. But anyway, I wish I would have got it started back in like 2020 because I would have got that cough push. But better late than never. But yeah, I consider Pearl a friend. Um, uh, she's truly a pioneer in this YouTube space. So yeah, back to the any other questions?
Well, you asked me about the child-free women by choice. I think that was your second question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, my opinion on the child-free woman by choice, I think women don't want to be mothers and are not nurturing at all. And the reason I think that is because 1 out of 3 of them kills their kids. And they're more violent towards children than men are. I think men are actually the nurturing gender. If I was going to argue that one gender like was more biologically meant to be parents, I would put men, other than the fact that women like obviously we're the only ones that can actually reproduce, but honestly, if men could do it, I think more men would sign up than women, because as soon as women got the choice to do anything other than be moms, they picked it. They said, "Do you want to raise your kids? Do you want to raise them?" And they said, "Nah, throw them in daycare." And they said, "Well, do you want to be in a married two-parent home with a mom and a dad and like stay together at least till the kids are like, 13, 14, just, for the bit like ish raised?" And the lady said, "Nah, we don't want to do that."
Guys,
And
just real quick to
go ahead,
interrupt you.
sorry.
AJ has a good friend, and he has a PhD in chemistry from Yale. So he works for this law firm, and when there are lawsuits involving pharmaceuticals, he studies all that stuff or whatever. He makes like $300,000 a year, $400,000 a year, and this guy married an older woman, right? And they had to wait to have kids because she has a bachelor's degree in like liberal arts and French or something, and she wanted to get a job and work for a couple of years. So she was 37 when they had their kid, and this guy makes enough money where she never has to work, but she went back to working for this government office, making like $40,000 a year and putting his kid in daycare because she can't trust him enough to be the breadwinner of the family. This guy makes $400,000 a year. This is where we're at. I have to have a job.
Does
Why?
he need a second wife? I have a little sister who's single,
No,
I'm just saying, like,
no. You wouldn't like this guy. I like the guy, but I mean, he's the kind of guy that would put up with that crap.
what?
Just
Not me. I'm taken. I'm just saying. There's 22-year-olds every day. Like these. Why do men build themselves up just to accept that level?
I have no idea. Let me welcome in Jessica real fast. Jessica, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I just dropped by for a few minutes, and just want to say, keep on doing the good work, both of you, Pearl and Doug and AJ, because I think a lot of people are really, let's say, thankful that we hear, let's say, first of all, the truth, and second of all, we hear something which we understand and agree with. So you will always find, in a way, some opposition whenever you do that. But in the end, you're doing what's true. And I just wish you just to keep up the good work. I know, Pearl, you had a lot of trouble with with fighting against this, let's say, the YouTube and stuff like that. So I just hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
What's your opinion on child-free women, Jessica?
Well, my understanding is that what I've seen is that modern women love to change the words just to make it so that it's no longer shameful to do something which is in fact a personal failure. So, for instance, they always say they're single by choice. Which means they have failed to attract a husband, So when they're child free, so instead of being childless, which is something to be ashamed of when you're a woman, because society expects women to have children. Okay, so society puts pressure on women to become mothers because that's what is required, and that's what brings them the most happiness and fulfillment. So those who do not have them are just using this child-free word to make it as if it was something liberating and free, when in fact it's very selfish, and it's a way to avoid any kind of blame. That's my opinion on this word. It's always a way to avoid shame. That's my view.
I was going to ask Pearl. So this whole women not being nurturing thing, when did you think that started happening? Was it like a millennial thing, a Gen X thing, a Gen Z thing? When
No,
do you think
Doug.
that started happening?
I had the most crazy stat pointed out to me. So someone pointed out that the reason we don't have as many kids now is because of the infant mortality rate. And before, if you had like it was a 1 in 3 chance your kid would die.
Uh-huh.
How convenient is it that that's the same rate of abortion?
Oh man, that's true. Because 1 in 3 women will delete a child. That's true.
Yeah,
100%.
so what if it's always been like this? And it's just like, even then, let's see, in the 1800s, the infant mortality rate was high with 30% of children dying before their first birthday and 43% not surviving up to age 5.
Dang.
And apparently there was bones in bathhouses in Greece. So what if it's just always been like this?
So they've replaced. So we actually live in the time where having a child is safer than ever. But instead of natural causes and the elements taking out children, now women are choosing to do it. That is insanity, guys.
Wow.
No, but what if before the moms I'm just guessing here, right? But to me that number is too close. What if the moms killed them before and just blamed it on something?
Well, they were
Ah.
forced to do it because back in the days it was shunned and it was considered, blasphemous to do that. So they, though the women who were, let's say, in that predicament, ended up trying to find different solutions to just not have the baby. And just to my thought is that
What you're saying is they had coat hangers
exactly
back
So,
in ancient Greece.
or backdoor clinics or some kind of shady clandestine way of doing it. But
But why
nowadays it's very open and easy to do it, and so but it's the same number. If that's your idea, I'd agree with you.
it says 40% of children between 1750 and 1780 died before the age of 15. Like, wouldn't that kind of make sense? Because women get really angry. Like, I'm sure everyone's mom here would get angry over dumb things. And they just lose their temper and, like, do something.
Well, I think by law, when there is like some period of time when if a mother decides to end his baby or whatever, it's called some kind of illness, So it's a way of shielding the mother from any legal accountability in case she just decides out of a sudden to get rid of her children, and or her babies. So there are I'd say some ways to
You
protect
could
the women
say,
from this
but
gross behavior.
also think about this. Remember, men don't want to take care of other men's children. So can you imagine, like, because there was a lot of wars back in the day, right? Can you imagine if your husband, who was a soldier, didn't come home, and you had to marry another man, and he didn't want children? The woman could take out the kids and get with a new man, just like the lions do.
Yeah, it's true. And back in the days, it was easier to get away with it. But yeah, I've seen some stories where some like student in college, some girl got pregnant and just threw the baby in the trash can and stuff like that, and she got away with like a slap on the wrist, So it's common nowadays, and sadly, I think we've shielded such crimes from true repercussions, and
Well,
it
well,
backfires on society.
that's changing though, because on my channel I always say women want equality. I mean, it's going to take a while, but women want equality, but things are never going to be fair between men and women. So all women are fighting for is for life to be just as unfair for them as it is for men. Because things are never going to be fair for men, ever, right? I'm telling you, that is equality right there. And in most of the states where they've legalized marijuana, see, the policing is based upon people arrested and crimes cleared into the system, and then jail and prisons is based upon beds being full. So marijuana was one of the lowest hanging fruits, but they still had to put people in jail. So now, I mean, AJ has how many different body cam videos of women who don't think that they're going to get arrested for freaking hitting their man and stuff, and the police take them away. The police are arresting women more and more now because they have to get those beds full, and they have to get the arrests.
And you know, if I may add to that, you know, the laws were you know, SA have been put into place by women voting, thinking that it will always benefit them, you know. But nowadays, when there's an SA claim and the police comes, they have to put someone in jail, and oftentimes the instigator or the perpetrator is the woman. So they're just forced to arrest the woman, and that's a consequence which was really not in their in their plans when the women voted for such laws, you know. So it's a funny backfire for them.
Let's look at this woman here who's going to tell us why she's child free. First off, let me say the obvious. Where are you?
She's hippo free, yeah.
She's like a smooth, like 375. You think, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine all that loving on top of you? Oh God, yuck! It's like a freaking, you know, a freaking 80-pound bag of mayonnaise. Well, actually, she's an 80-pound bag of mayonnaise, dude.
And why do they say employees instead of women? It's absolutely absurd.
I don't know. We'll see.
Article about a child-free woman who refuses to trade her shift on Thanksgiving with her coworker who happens to be a mother. I'm going to tag the original creator's video who I saw this from below, but basically I agree too. As someone
I gotta say, 51 and some change. Thank you for joining the stream, buddy. I really appreciate it. He had to go to sleep.
who is child-free themselves, it is insane to think that I should have to sacrifice my holiday and my family time just for your family. I have worked retail, and I can proudly say I never worked a single holiday. When I was in college, I worked retail, and every holiday, major holiday for Thanksgiving or Christmas, I always went home. I lived in a completely different state, and I had no family in my college state. So if I didn't go home, I would be completely alone. And while that is the situation for some, I was fortunate enough to be able to go home, and I didn't want that to be my reality. So I went home. I only had 2 bird brain coworkers who would try and challenge me on it. And I then was able to pull the "my mom has cancer" card, and that would quickly shut it down. But
So you're gonna lie and say that your mom has cancer?
Damn.
Well, but you know what? I got it, man. Like, how many of us child-free people have to pick up the slack with freaking moms, with moms in the workplace, guys? So she's kind of onto something here, because
But Doug, can I
hold on.
be devil's advocate?
Just men in general. Like
Jessica, go ahead, and then Jessica, you can
she's
go after.
speaking about not wanting to pick up the slack for women who are pregnant or have a baby on the way or whatever. But she actually gets a glimpse into what we men have to do in terms
Yeah,
of picking up the slack
100%.
for women, picking up the slack for women in general. I have a friend who was telling me about him being in nursing school,
Oh
how
Lord.
they have to be the ones they have to be the ones to move the 300-pound, 800-pound fat man and all this other stuff. They have the same credentials as the female LS LPN,
Yeah.
but yet it's the man that they charge to do the work, but they're not paying them extra to do the work. They're not getting overtime. They're not getting anything. It's the woman that's like, oh, if he's a man, he can do it. So she's actually just getting a tiny glimpse of what men have to, of the slack that men have to pick up on, whether it's in the nursing field, whether it's in the military, having to watch after women as opposed to watching the enemy ahead. So, or construction, whatever the case may be. So she's complaining about something that's maybe 10% of the issues that we have to deal with for women in general.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Jessica, go ahead.
Yeah, just I agree with what you said, Joseph. But in addition to that, I would say that for me, it's absolutely natural that that women and men who have children receive some kind of, let's say, advantage and help and even privilege from society, because it is something which is absolutely required. So those who choose in a way to not provide society with children should have some kind of price to pay, because otherwise they're not doing their let's say their task, because that's the main task. So I'd be completely, let's say, understanding that they get some kind of tax breaks, and they get maybe some time free, because there has to be some encouragement, some benefit to this. Otherwise we risk just having a lower and lower birth rate, and that's not good for society overall, you know.
The problem
So
is that she doesn't feel that way. Is women. So the way you speaking is exactly. So even though me mentioning the things that we pick up the slack on, I don't even like. I've been asked to do. Hey, can you grab that thing off the shelf? I do it,
Yeah,
but it's not. No, I don't think in hindsight. Oh, you could have did it. I don't think or talk the way that she's talking about it. It's just that
yeah,
it's something we do. It's a. I don't know.
it's natural. It's exactly,
It's
yeah,
natural. But you would
yeah.
think it would be the same for a woman as a woman who would understand on a greater level than we do. Hey,
Yeah,
I
but
don't have the capacity, but they don't. It's weird that they don't, but that we
they,
do, and we don't have the capacity to bear children the way that they
they
do.
don't, because they cannot put themselves in the other person's shoes, you know. They just
But they're
think about
women. You would think
themselves.
they would,
That's it.
as women, you would think they would be able to do it better than we can. That's the
No, no, no,
crazy part for me.
no, they only think about themselves
Right.
my
mostly.
biggest problem is once again, it's the devil speaking, talking out of both sides of the mouth. Men, leave me alone. I don't need a man. But can you lift that for me?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, wait, hold up a second. And then also, um, daytime television, men are terrible. Men are awful. Something happens to a woman in public. Where are all the men?
Yeah.
Why
Where were
can't
the
men
men?
hit women? Oh my god.
It's a double
They
speak
did
for me.
nothing.
Yeah, at least she's not double speaking. She may be big, but she's not. She may be a biggin, but she's not double speaking. So I got to give her
She's
credit for
double
that.
in size, but she's not double speaking.
She a double chin, but she ain't double speaking.
Get the time off because you have kids. That's crazy. That's selfish. And the argument of, oh, well, it's the company's fault. Yes, it's the company's fault. So then why do I, the child-free co-worker who is making the same amount as you, have to pick up the slack? Because here's the thing, leading up to the holidays, you're taking time off early to go to holiday pageants. You're taking time off early throughout the year to go to doctor's appointments and what have you because of your kids. So you don't get to always have it your way, and you have to have some give and take and make some sacrifices. And I know it's hard, and I know it's not conventional, but
She's
sometimes you have to
absolutely
switch your holidays
missed the
around.
point.
I, I was going to ask you, Jessica, how is the time? How is the maternity time off in
In Switzerland,
Switzerland? Is it one of
it's
those countries where a, a woman can take like a full year off of work or something like that?
no, no, no. I had a colleague who was pregnant. She took like the three last months, like maybe from the 8th month of pregnancy to like 2 months after her child was born, and it's paid by the company.
So what,
So
like
it's
5 months?
a total 3 months, something like that, around that.
Okay.
3 4, so it's very fair, and usually Switzerland are very, let's say, understanding of such that, yeah, it's something which requires time. Often, however, some women abuse it, you know, so they just get a job and then they get pregnant and then they get paid leave, and then they quit the job. So it happened. I mean, I'm sure it happens everywhere, but it's very in
You
a
know what?
way
You know what?
shameless.
You know, if you're gonna leave the door open,
Are
people
gonna
are
abuse
gonna
it. Yeah.
walk in. Yep, they're
Yeah.
gonna walk in. Let's finish with this girl here.
And you may have to work on a Christmas. All of this is also coming from the perspective of a child who was raised by a single parent. My mom.
Guys, assume that all B dubs I cover were raised by single parents.
Yeah, I
Assume.
agree.
Just assume. Come on, guys.
Worked in IT and in IT gaming in Vegas. So that's a very male dominated field. She was oftentimes the only woman on her team or the only woman with kids. For the most part, it worked out okay, but one New Year's Eve, she had to pay a babysitter $250 to watch me, and she was okay with it. You know why? Because that Thanksgiving and that Christmas, she had it off, no problem, no contest. And so when no one wanted to swap shifts with her for New Year's Eve, she understood and she got it. Did it suck to have to pay $250 for some babysitter to watch a 6-year-old take a nap? Yeah, I'm sure that did suck, but it was also a choice she made to have me, and it is no one else's responsibility in that company. That is a multi-billion-dollar company because she was working at the Hard Rock at the time. Yeah, that's not that's not on her either.
She
So
looks like she looks like her breath smells like bacon and onion rings. Right?
Doug,
Yeah, yeah.
I think she's telling the truth that she doesn't want kids. How can these women that can't take care of themselves take care of children? Like, if
Yeah.
you're morbidly obese, you're
Wow.
not going to be able to feed the kids.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But,
yeah, we're not
And
you know,
also, Pro, I've always wondered, because when I was in the DC area, I would meet more women in their 30s with no relationship experience. And guys, past 25, avoid women who've never been who've never been in a serious. Well, no. I say past 30. Avoid women who've never been in a serious relationship, because a lot of them have a twisted sense of how relationships are and how men are, and you don't want to be her guinea pig, right? But uh, so these women, they've never had a relationship with a man, but you're gonna have a kid. How can you navigate raising a child if you can't get along with an adult?
Yeah, they always try to bypass this step, finding a husband or finding someone before having the kid. They want to get the home before they get the husband. I mean, what's good to buy a house if you don't have a husband to raise your family inside? They only think about they can't, so they just try to go over it. And if I'll just mention one example which comes to mind. The male equivalent in Switzerland of what she's saying is that in Switzerland you have to have 1 year of military service, okay? And
Oh, I didn't
if
know
you
that.
do not do that year, you will have to pay 3% of your income for until you're 30, okay? So as a
Oof.
man, you choose. You either do 1 year or you pay, okay? So it's a choice. Well, in the same way, a woman should know she either has children, that's what is expected of her, or she pays some kind of price, the shifts she's talking about and stuff like that. That's how I see it. They can be just there are some things which must be done in society, for instance, protect the country, having children, and you either do it or pay the price of skipping it. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
good luck passing anything like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Pearl,
well,
I was thinking, just like men have military service, I'd say women should have a year off where they go to like some South African country and spend 1 year there to see how things really are, and then they come back and maybe they'll have like a different, let's say,
viewpoint
perspective
of
on their
how,
life.
of their privilege in the
Yeah,
West.
yeah. If they gotta go in Uganda and search for water like 10 miles away, maybe.
No, I don't think it would help much because I've seen the women that immigrate when I was in the UK, like from a lot of those foreign countries, and the guys from there would complain about the same stuff with the women. So I don't.
Well,
We
well,
gotta
Sorry,
try something. We gotta
sorry.
try
guys,
something because
guys,
But I do think it's a good idea. Like, I'm not like, don't think I'm hating on the idea. It's just I
women are being too protected in the United States. They gotta feel like how life is outside, so they just stop wasting time on boring things or
I
meaningless
just
things.
don't. So I'm going to ask everyone a question. How does okay? Because I think that feminism is literally a first world problem, right? But how does feminism exist in a third world country? Like women are so prideful that they'll deal with the difficulties of a third world country alone. How does that make sense? Like, how can you be a feminist in a third world country? Like, are you that addicted to suffering and living a life alone?
I'm not sure that exists in third world countries. It's a
Well,
model. It's a very let's say Western idea.
but Pearl just said that she's met guys from the third world countries, and a lot of the women are saying the same thing.
Google, is Nigeria third world?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, like they would say the same thing.
Well, I think it's sorry, Pearl, go ahead.
No,
Hold on,
it's
real quick.
just
Hold on, real quick. Neo Relic, good to see you. Gulag Moose Fowler, good to see you. Go ahead.
No, I was saying Gulag has it spot on. It's because nowadays those countries have social media and
Oh
they get everything which modern women get as well.
So is it like a words versus actions thing where these women are saying a bunch of stuff, but they're still in their actions having to abide by traditions because of the conditions of the country, or what?
Doug.
Yeah.
So only way I could really think that even in third world countries they can pretty much be that is there still must be like a group of people like men or the government that give them some kind of assistance. Like, I mean, it's not like, I mean, like simp can be anywhere, right?
Yeah, because that's true. Because in my opinion, what's making feminism popular is because it's seductive for women. It means that they get in some kind of advantage or some kind of preferential treatment, and they don't have to
it's
do anything. It's a giveaway.
it's
So
they get
it's
all the
seductive.
benefits and opportunities of a man, but they get the chivalry of a woman, and that equals superiority. That's what it is.
Yeah, without the effort, because that's the hard part, It's just deserving that privilege. Privilege is not something that you find on a tree, It's something which has been usually fought for and obtained through hardships and sacrifice and stuff like that. And
By
the modern
men.
women, modern women, they really think that white men just got it in a tree, they were in
And
the street and all of a sudden they
and
got privilege. No, they just fought for it and they
just
earned it.
I've said this multiple times. I'm 43. I'm gonna be 44 in like 5 days. This is the great experiment. Like women my age and younger are the great experiment where they have all the opportunities, all the ability to truly be alone. And also, men men used to try to sweep women off their feet, not anymore. If you navigate, how many times do I have to say, if you navigate life like a single woman, no one's gonna stop you, ladies. So it's gonna get real fun in 10 years when I'm 54. And you get to see these women who've been alone their entire lives. Women aren't meant to be alone. Anyway, so this woman here, the question says, there are even young women who choose to be child free. How can they not fall in the 50-50 expectations the men will have on them? I would love your take on this topic. So she thinks that child free women should still expect a man to provide, although they don't want children. You guys. These women, man. Totally awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. In third world countries, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is funding schools for girls and women. Flower says, feminism is a non-issue with foreign women, but ugly guys seem to have a hard time with feminism and being treated well by women. What? What? Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Jessica, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's probably like 4:00 in the morning where he is right now. Gulak says, I know women in Honduras who are very progressive. Yikes, man.
Let's talk about women who are child free and the whole idea of provider men versus 50-50 relationships.
Guys, this is going to be stunning. Come on now.
Thank you, Joa, for asking. This is a great question. There's actually a couple more comments that form part of this question. So if you want to read the whole thing, you can just click on that and it will take you back to the question. But personally, I think the first thing to say is that you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. The question that women really should be asking is not how do they avoid ending up in a 50-50 relationship or what are the arguments against being in a 50-50 relationship. The question that women who our child free should be asking is why do you want to get married? Because understand that the institution of marriage was really created with the idea of like a man and a woman raising a family together and sort of sharing the work around that. And while you
Okay, wait a minute. Flowers, wait, hold up. She says it has to be a she. I think all these complicated discussions can be narrowed down to ugly guys versus attractive guys. No attract. Oh no, it's probably a he. No attractive guy is complaining about feminism, or entitled women, bro. That's not true because attractive guys, attractive guys can get divorced great, buddy. Attractive guys can get got in paternity court. Attractive guys can marry a woman and then he starts working too much, gains a little bit of weight. Maybe his hair starts to go. And then if she's attractive, she wants to monkey ranch to somebody else. Maybe attractive guys won't complain about feminism in the dating market, but they sure will complain about feminism in marriage, in a serious relationship. Attractive guys have nothing to complain about in dating and smashing women, but all men have to suffer when it comes to serious relationships and marriage. So you are completely wrong on that. Completely wrong. Attractive guys will still have will come home and their wife has freaking emptied out the house and took the kids, and they only see their kids every other freaking weekend, and 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 he can see his kids every other weekend, but she brings some freaking other idiot around his kids, and she's keeping his kids from defying the court order. That happens to all guys. Chads and Tyrones, they don't have it as hard as regular guys, but they still have the avenues to be able to get the red pill shoved up their butts.
you can argue that that isn't necessarily the only way, the best way, or even the most.
Well, I'm divorced. All my friends are divorced, and we all have the same story. You must be young. How old are you? Because once you hit 35, man, just wait. 35 is a very empowering time of your life because you start to actualize. But then all of your friends who got married when they were young are getting divorced, and you get to hear, well, you know what I'm talking about. All the guys I knew who got married in their 20s got divorced, and their wives all left them. I don't know how you don't know this. I don't understand it. I really don't. No man in the West is immune from what women can do to him. No man. And in fact, Chads and Tyrones are more likely to freaking because there's so much opportunity with women, they're more likely to shoot up the club and get some girl pregnant. A lot of Chads and Tyrones have baby mamas, and ask them about their baby mamas, man. Ask them. Absolute demons that they never should have laid up with in the first place.
Most natural way to raise children is how our society is structured. And within our society, there are still a lot of benefits for children who are raised in stable two-parent households. Really, that should be the main driver and benefit for women if they are wanting children, is to partner with a man who will provide the support that they need, who will be a good partner, a good father, all of those things. That equation, in my opinion, changes radically when you no longer want to have children. Then it's like, why? Why are you signing up for marriage? Like, what is it that you would be hoping to achieve as a woman? Like, what is it that you think it's going to give you or benefit you?
It's because people weren't supposed to be by themselves. Men and women used to have to stay together to survive against the elements, you know.
Yeah.
And now we don't have this whole thing where we're so safe that people could be alone has only been in the last 50 years or so. It's new compared to the rest of history.
Or add to your life in a way that you couldn't give just to yourself. I really think that the best position for a woman who doesn't want to have children should be that she is just creating her life all on her own, the way that she wants it. And then if she meets a man that she's potentially interested in sharing her life with, it should be him who's convincing her that she needs to change something to be with him, and that being with him and sharing her life with him will be of some benefit to her. Because really, you should never be explaining your standards to a man or arguing with him or trying to convince him to see things the way that you see them. If you're not comfortable with 50-50 as a woman, you do not owe anybody any sort of explanation. You can just simply choose to be with men who will provide. And if they don't want to provide, you don't have to be with them. It's
She's kind of spitting facts up in here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I was gonna disagree with this woman, but by her look. But okay, let's go.
as simple as that. There need not be any other justification. Because in truth, I think too many women just wander blindly into relationships that are actively harming them, actively making their life worse, oftentimes even destroying their lives, simply because of feelings and because it's what people do and it's what society is telling them to do and it's what
No, society's not telling women to get into toxic relationships. Society's not telling them to go for a Pookie, Nug, and Chad. But it's what they feel. Everyone is telling women to not get. Well, I don't know, because part of female empowerment is being sexually expressive, following your heart. I don't know. I guess I'm on both sides of the fence here.
their friends are doing or whatever. And my whole thing is that I want women to critically think about relationships and how they're going to benefit you. Because feelings are not a good reason to make life changing, life altering decisions. Still be with a man you have feelings for, but you don't have to be paying his bills or doing his laundry or cooking his meals or being his, on call worker, spicy worker, right? You can live your own independent life, let him take care of himself like the adult that he is, and then, only be together when it suits you. And if he's in a bad mood, say he had a hard day at work or whatever, you can just be like, I'm out. See you later. I'll let you deal with that all on your own. You don't have to do things like compromise or communicate, especially not in circumstances when the same is not being reciprocated. Yes, maybe the child-free women can explain. Like, why would you want to get married? Let's have a conversation about, like, legitimately, what is it that you think it will do for you? What value add prospect are you expecting without, him paying your bills? Like, what is it that you're going to gain out of this situation? Okay. Like, seriously.
That's a good question, guys. Why do you think a woman who didn't want kids would want to be married? Well, I would just say, hey, she wants a guy to pay her bills. But like, what do you think? Like, why would a modern woman want to get married if she doesn't want to have children?
I think I can answer that. I think it's
Go,
simple. I think it's a simpler answer than most of us would want to accept. But
go ahead.
it's for the same reason that I would want to get married if I didn't want to have kids, for love and companionship. I mean, it's as simple and basic as Adam and Eve. It's that fundamental element. Aside from the kids, aside from helping each other pay each other's bills and living life together, that's precisely it. That's it. Everything else to me is extra.
Okay. Ray J?
So I was going to say, like, legally getting married, like what was Joseph talking about, like, you don't, I mean, especially in the West, you don't have to legally get married to, have that companionship, love, and stuff like that. Only reason I see that people, and I mean people, both men and women, should legally get married is to specifically have children. And I guess, like, if you were really wanting that companion who just isn't a citizen in your country and they can't stay here unless you marry them or something like that, maybe that kind of scenario. But other than that, like, legal marriage really shouldn't be outside of those two things. Like you can get married religiously. No, which one is secular? Is secular like non-religious? Like you can just be together. Like especially now, like we can be together without being legally committed to each other.
But we see how
Yeah.
that turns out, though. It doesn't. It gives people also a license to hop around from one person to another. There's no stakes involved. Do I think that the
Yeah.
stakes are much greater for a man than it is for a woman? Yes. But I think there's something to, I guess you can call it the institution of marriage.
Well,
There's also like
I'm going to
there's
interrupt
other
real fast. I'm
benefits.
going to interrupt. The marriage is still the number one wealth builder, even between two people,
Yeah, that's what I was getting.
because of the tax breaks. You can afford more things if it's two people on a credit line instead of one. So like it's just like in the black community. I don't understand why we have so many situationships. If you're with a person for and I'm guilty of this. I was with my first girlfriend for 4.5 years. And you know what? We should have got married and got divorced. I'm dead
Mm.
serious. Because, guys, your paycheck will be higher if you're married. Dead serious. Paycheck will be higher.
So
Tax breaks, all that stuff. So marriage is still one of the number one wealth builders in society, even if it's just you and a person getting married. Go ahead.
So as I am specifically saying, like, what was like Joseph said, like there's not too much stake in the game if you're not like legally connect to each other. At least in the US, like I really don't think that's a benefit. Like
Well,
what
well,
really
well.
stops
I put a caveat. Remember on my channel, I said that marriage is a rich person's game. If you can have a household income of over $200,000, the divorce rate goes down to 20%. The average guy should not get married, but it is a fact. If you can get a household income of over $200,000, you have a 20% chance of getting divorced. So it is a rich man's game. I would never tell an average guy to get married. Go ahead.
Yeah, but hold
I mean,
on.
I can continue.
One second. You just said that it's a way to build wealth, but if the expectation is for the man, presumably, to have a certain level of wealth before he gets married, then wouldn't that defeat the purpose of marriage?
No, because you can still keep building wealth.
Yeah, but 200K a year is quite significant. Almost any. So, but that's not even at a starting gate. That's like he's almost not necessarily at the finish line, but he's pretty close because you can build it really quickly at 200K. He wouldn't even need to get married.
No, look, no. I'm saying a combined household income. So if you're a guy, you make 120, your wife makes 80,000. It's not you by yourself. If you have a combined household income of $200,000. If you're a guy making $200,000, of course not. But if you have you guys missed when I said a combined household income
Okay.
of over $200,000, the divorce rate drops to 20%. And you can keep building wealth. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to stop at 200,000. You can keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as long as your wife is not a knucklehead.
Oh yeah, but where are you gonna find that?
Man, this Lewis guy, this guy, hey man, why don't you come up on stream and just say what you got to say? I mean, because we
No.
all, I mean, he's
I'll
like
let him
in the
engage.
background talking about got him, but at least I have the boss to come on here and listen and respond
No,
and
he's fine. He's fine. He hasn't said anything
pussy.
out of pocket yet. If he starts getting into personal insults and stuff, he seems like a cool guy though. Gulag says, "I've experienced with that with this woman. No, I've experienced with what this woman is talking about. I'm with a girlfriend and have an 8-year-old daughter with her. We've been living together for a decade and never getting married again. So what? So you and her are living together and just are gonna never get married? And I don't blame you though because women put okay. If a woman has your kids, she has you by the balls, and she's gonna act differently. If you marry a woman, she's like, oh, I have you now, so everything I did to attract you, I don't have to do it anymore. So I can see why people do still get married because women are more likely to change their behavior based upon circumstances in a relation in a relationship than a man. Oh,
My
yeah.
question to Gulag is, that's a very strict. You have a whole child with a woman that, after 8 years, you still consider her just a girlfriend. At what point does she does she graduate from? It's like being perpetually in middle school. Oh, I'm happy with middle school. I get a middle school education. Wouldn't you want to go to high school, college, and then some further advanced education? So at least in this specific case, you have a girlfriend that you have a child with, 8 years old. You still don't feel like she's worthy of making it some sort of like where you both can benefit from a marriage union, and even if not just the financial aspects, to also the I guess the I want to say the status that come with it. Like, how do you feel about going around saying, "Oh, you have a child"? Yeah, people assume you're married until you tell them, "Oh, no, this is just my girlfriend." Oh, interesting. So she's your baby mama that you're living with.
Yeah, because unfortunately, and in our community, in the Black community, you got a baby mama, bro,
That's what he is. But
and
the
that's
girlfriend, yeah, no, that's after maybe a year or two. But you passed that point. You just whatever, perhaps reasonable or not, have fears of marriage because you've been through it. I'm sure you have. But
yeah,
in this case, it's like you
and
8 years, like you still with the woman. You
and
just
I'm always sympathetic because guys, I've been divorced, and being divorced sucks, man. Like I'm not gonna criticize him too much because he's been married and divorced already, and odds are he had a brutal divorce. A lot of guys have a brutal divorce, man.
Yeah.
And so, if he had never been married,
mhm,
I'd be criticizing him. But him being married because I'm happy that he found another one.
mhm.
I'm happy that he found a good girl and he's having a child and stuff. He's making it work. But if he hadn't had a kid, I'm sorry, if he had never been married, I'd be torching him all the way up and down. But you know what, guys, I'm telling you, a lot of people, you know,
Mm.
marriage is either for you or not. And if you figure out that marriage isn't for you, don't get married. But that doesn't mean that you have to be alone for the rest of your life. A lot of people are going to end up shacking up because, guys, look, um, I have an older sister who's single, right? And she always wonders why most of the guys her age, she's in her late 40s, have she's like, why don't men do this? Why don't men do that? Well, why aren't they romantic and court women? I said most of the men your age have already been through it. And my sister's like never had a serious relationship, right? So she has these weird, like Snow White kind of Disney fairy tale views on relationships that are completely unrealistic. And what she doesn't understand is you're not going to find those kind of guys because they've tried that already, and the women left them,
Mhm.
and they're not going to do it again. You know? Yeah. So I'm one of those people. If you figure out that marriage isn't for you, you know, uh, don't do it again. Anyway, so let's get to this woman here, and then we're gonna do this last one, and then I'm gonna do a video about this, but we're gonna go through the numbers first because if you remember Jodie Turner-Smith and Joshua Jackson, you remember Zaddy here that all the black women were fawning over because he married his black queen? Yeah, well, they're getting divorced, and we're gonna go over some numbers.
All right.
Parents of the internet. Let me put this very simply. Me saying as a child-free person that I don't want to flex my entire life around you is not me saying I think you should be more flexible for me. I completely understand your life is inflexible. What I don't like is when you think you own my flexibility, when you think I owe you my free time. But let me tell you this, I'm asking you to not get mad at me when I don't want to go to all of your kids' birthdays every year. That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for you to not prioritize your children. I'm not saying you shouldn't prioritize your children. I think you should. I'm not saying I don't like your children. I'm not saying I don't want to hang out with your children. I'm saying, as a person who chose to have no children, I didn't make that choice so that I could spend every Saturday of mine at a child's birthday party. And that doesn't mean I sometimes don't want to be at that birthday party. But if I don't want to be at that birthday party, don't be upset with me. I can respect, support, and love and cherish our friends.
She's acting like there's like an all-out assault on her from women that have children. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? She's acting like, she's being. The only time I'm forced to deal with mothers, well, I mean, was at work in an office when one of them has to go on maternity leave and all of us have to pick up at work. But in general, I don't really get any kind of stress. I don't have, but I guess I'm a man too, so maybe it's different for women. I don't know. I don't know.
Friendship without me being present for every child's milestone. Because after all, I didn't choose my life of flexibility in order to give you all my flexibility. I chose my life of flexibility so that I could be flexible for other priorities. It's okay that you prioritize your things, and it should be okay that I prioritize my things. Believe me, I know your life is inflexible. I know that it's hard. That's why I don't want to have children. It is too much for me. Call it selfish, but to me, what would be selfish is me having a child and not really wanting to have the child. So I'm going to say it one more time. My post is not about you as a parent having to flex for me. My post is about just because I'm not a parent doesn't mean I always have to flex for you.
Yeah. At least she's honest, man. I'm telling you, these modern women are no joke. Are no joke when it comes to being child free, man. And I said it at the beginning. I'm gonna say it again. I don't have a problem if women do want to have kids. I honestly believe that women are still pushing women to have kids. I don't think that the majority of men are pushing women to have kids, especially when we know all about the paternity court system. No
Yeah.
guy in his right mind would say, "Oh, you have your kids." Nah, heck no. Nope, 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 nope. No way. All right, let's get into the numbers of this. You guys are going to see a video about this posted probably sometime tomorrow, but I just wanted to go into this. So, Joshua Jackson, he was on Dawson's Creek, and then this girl, like some kind of celebrity. I still don't know who this woman is, but this was one of those couples where, I mean, he's white, she's black, and we all know that black women think that a white guy marry a black woman. It's a celebration of a black woman. I've literally had them say that. I've literally had them say that. When a white guy marries a black woman, it's a celebration of a black woman. And especially considering all of the history behind white men, it's good that they learn to appreciate. It's like, wait a minute, these are the guys historically, who freaking done all sorts of stuff to black women, but you're gonna marry one. And I would never say that, but that double standard's there. Remember, guys?
They
Where
call those sellouts if you try to even date white women.
Yep, you got it. But when they do it, it's okay. So it says, amid their ongoing divorce, Jodie Turner Smith. First off, any woman with a hyphenated last name is a problem, especially a B-dub. And remember, she approached him and she proposed to him.
What?
Right? Yeah.
No way.
Yep.
She got down on one knee.
Yep.
Will you be my husband?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I do declare.
I know.
Use that old 1700 slave word. I do declare to be your
I
husband.
got to get AJ's soundbite. Remember that, baby? I'm gonna butter your bread. I got to get that. Hilarious.
Think of some
Anyway,
Django Unchained references or something
yeah.
like
It
that.
says Jodie Turner Smith filed a request to receive child special support from Joshua Jackson. In a new filing made on Monday with the Los Angeles County Superior Court, the 38-year-old British actress is requesting $8,543 per month in child support payments. And wait, okay. $28,641 per month in spousal support and other retroactive payments. She's also seeking $250,000 to cover attorney fees and forensic accounting costs. So she's divorcing him, and she wants him to pay for her attorney fees. and what's let me get out the calculator here. Calculator.
I know. Wait.
Man,
That's
bruh.
28,641 plus 8,543. She wants $37,184 a month.
For what?
We're gonna find out. She said, Turner Smith, who originally filed for divorce from 46-year-old Jackson in October, originally waived spousal support, but changed her stance over Jackson's alleged refusal to negotiate reasonable payments in their proceedings. So she originally refused spousal support. She also accused Jackson of prolonging the process, making it difficult to support herself and their daughter Juno, born in April of 2020. All I've asked for since the inception of this matter is to be allowed to maintain the strong relationship between Juno and me while managing a full-time work schedule to support our daughter and myself, said Turner Smith in the filing. Josh has run up my attorney fees and forensic accounting costs and has made this dissolution far more difficult than necessary, she added. So that's her, and that's look at that nose ring. Ugh, yikes! I hate that septum piercing. Said, elsewhere in the court request, Turner Smith claims that Jackson provided their family with a high standard of living during their marriage and pointed out she doesn't receive as many job offers compared to Jackson. It's because you're old and you're used up and you smashed into the wall. You're 38 years old and now you're going to be a divorced single mom. Come on now. Whose career spans decades, who has historically earned a higher income than her. Jackson is currently starring in ABC's Dr. Odyssey, which premieres this fall. Josh promised to always wait. Oh, I'm reading the wrong one. Hold on. Okay, this one has the numbers in it. Sorry about that. Okay. Joshua Jackson's massive alleged monthly income was exposed as part of his bitter divorce war with his estranged wife, Jody Turner Smith. Jody 30 filed an income and expense declaration obtained by InTouch as part of her plea for child support and spousal support from Joshua 46. Actress claims that Joshua pulled in $2,351,765 in 2022, and she believes he earns a $195,000 a month income. Jody said her average monthly income is about $87,000, but last month she pulled in over $245,000. She said she has.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How do you make that kind of? Wait, what?
What?
She has $4,945 in cash or bank accounts, and another $366,289 in stocks and bonds or properties she could easily sell. You guys ready for this? You guys ready? Watch. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. The actress said her monthly expenses include $40,000 a month in rent.
Jesus H. Christ.
$509 for childcare. $1,800 in groceries.
Jesus H. Christ.
$2,612 on clothes. Good Lord.
Jesus H. Christ.
$3,291 on freaking entertainment. $2,000 for car loans and $6,000 to support family members. So what's the math on this? Let me see. 40,000 plus 509 plus 1800 plus 2612 plus 3291 plus 2000 plus 6,000. So that's $56,000 a month.
That's so irresponsible. I would have divorced her too, just on the finance like that. So now she wants to take his money and do to his money what she did to hers. So it's not going to make a difference. She just wants to sustain this debt, this monthly.
Insane.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it.
Insane.
It would drive me crazy. And he's rich for a reason. He's probably thinking, well, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. He's making $200K. He has a net worth of 200 plus million in cash, which is excellent. And yet she makes almost as much. She should be at least where he's at. They're two totally different people in terms of how they spend
$5,000 in cash in the bank. $5,000.
No, not
and
that
she
kind
made
of income.
$245,000 in a month. She makes $87,000 a month. So 87,500 times 12.
Wow.
So she makes $1,000,000 $1 million a year, and she only has $4,945 in the bank.
Well, they say what 350 plus in stocks and bonds, or property. Aggregate. That's still not compared to what she should have. Not least to him. So he would be losing if he stayed with her. Just her spending it. I don't understand it. I don't.
This is freaking modern women, guys, right here. When I talk about this spending, insane.
Insane. Like you making that is life changing money. 1 year making $1 million, you can put that in stock. There's so many things I could to make that grow. You can take that principle and make that. Maybe I'm just thinking like I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't
he's
understand.
really thinking like a man.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's not. So it says
No, but
today
I know women who think very intelligently and are very studious and
they're few
responsible
and
with
far
money.
between though, man. Because even
Yeah, that's
my
true.
sister's really good with money, and all of her friends' personal lives are absolute chaos, especially when it comes to their money.
That's
I
true.
tell my sister all the time, "You are so good with money." So I know because all my friends are freaking all over the place. Crazy, man.
I would have to.
My old boss, she said one of the benefits of working where I work is that she's able to spend her entire paycheck each month. Now she's married and has a husband, but he pays
Wow.
everything and she spends her entire paycheck, and she's well into the six figures. Spends the
Wow.
whole thing each month. Yep. Mhm.
You said that's
So
that's a point of pride for her. You said.
yeah, she said
Like,
that was one of the best parts about working where I work as a benefit. Yep, she spends all of her money every single month. It is today. Joey said that she spent over $412,000 on legal fees for the divorce that she paid with her personal funds, and her motion actress said that Joshua should pay her $8,554 per month in child support, and then she asked for another $28,641 in spousal support. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a video about this tomorrow. She said, Joey said Josh asked her to leave their marital home after the breakup despite contributing $800,000 to the down payment. But yeah, yep. Everyone, oh my God, he found his black queen. And then now they're getting divorced. And now he's dating Lupita Nyong'o.
the who?
Lupita Nyong'o?
Oh, the actress. Oh, I know
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
But
He's dating.
she's known as the Hollywood whore, for lack of better words. She just that.
Really?
Oh yeah, like the role she played in Django Unchained, the sex slave and all. She basically.
No. That's not Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita Nyong'o was on 12 Years a Slave. She was on she was
Yeah, her.
Chadwick Boseman's love interest. The girl on Django was a girl on Scandal.
Did I say Django? I meant 12 years. Oh yeah, I meant 12 Years a Slave. That's what I meant. But that's what I'm speaking about. She's that one. So he went from
This is her right here.
yeah. She's been all over the industry.
Yeah. Well, she got him now.
For now.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. Pyro, any last words about modern women being child free?
All I can say is, well, I hope they better not regret this, because we're gonna make a lot of videos about this years later down, and at least
All right. Hold on.
yeah.
Klaus, I've been giving you a lot of leeway, man. I'm telling you, you got to stop, man. Like I'm not gonna time you out or anything in this time because we're wrapping up the stream. But I've given you a lot of leeway, man. If you keep doing stuff like this, I'm gonna ban you. So this is, guys, this is your one warning, okay? You made some good points in the chat. You were counter to what I was saying. I appreciated that very much, but you don't do anything like this. If you type something like this again, I'm gonna ban you off my channel, because Joseph deserves all the respect in making his points and his side of the conversation that I've given you in the chat. So knock this off.
But he doesn't
Okay.
have the balls to come here and state as opposed to putting all that energy and effort. Like at some point, when you put in all that time, it's a lot. Typing and all that shit. Like just come over here and say it, and you'll
All
be
right.
done. You know the difference between someone texting, someone back and forth, and it's like, well, why don't I just call you? You know,
All
like
right.
he's doing all that. So that's
All
all.
right.
I was calling him out on that. I have
All
an
right.
issue with his points. His
All right.
points is cool. I just want to hear his perspective instead of hiding behind a computer screen.
All right. Now he's gone.
Oh,
He called me a pussy, but you should just let it. You should just when the host of the show calls you out, you just let it lie, man. You just say, look, you know what? I'm sorry. I'll do better. But you're gonna keep the no, man. Now he's gone. Anyway, Pyro, continue.
Yeah, I was saying that at least we don't have to deal with these consequences of these bastard kids just making a whole a lot of trouble, because I've seen the news over here. These juveniles just keep making a lot of troubles, like over here, especially
Yeah.
in other countries. Like if you ever heard about that law, I don't remember which country, but they say like children under 15 cannot be charged with any anything against them. So th-
Wait,
they could get away
what?
with, yeah.
What? Where is it? Is this in Jamaica?
No. It's not in Jamaica, but it's another country. I don't like remember when, but a YouTuber named Raging Golden Eagle talked about it, and you already
Okay.
know that law immediately backfired.
Yeah,
Like
I
children
would imagine that would be because you're gonna have gangsters and stuff just use 13, 14-year-olds to commit
that
all the
happened.
crimes.
That literally happened.
Doug.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to confirm what Pyro was saying. I forgot what the country was, but it's literally like since they cannot be charged with any crimes, they are being used to commit crimes.
I'm gonna look for that country while you guys are. Anyone else want to do their final thoughts about child-free women? Uh, child-free modern women. What country made?
So, Doug, like if you literally look up Raging Golden's Eagle, like it's one of his latest like things, and I think it might actually have it in the title. But
Raging Golden Eagle. Let me see.
because like I remember seeing the exact same thing.
Uh, I'm on his channel right now.
Yeah, that
I guess
YouTuber.
I don't think it's
I
that.
love this guy.
Okay, you know what? I'll have to sub because I've never even heard of him.
Bro,
Yeah,
like you will see everything. You might not gonna agree with most of the things he says, but like like whenever he talks about anything, like it just opens your eyes and say, yeah, he has a point there. And I never see it this way. I never see it that way.
Okay, I'll check him out.
Yeah. By
Yeah,
the
I don't.
way, he also like collab with Yellow Flash and Undead Credit before.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll have to find that video because I don't see it right now. But anyway, all right. Joseph, final words about child-free modern women.
I think that they are. I would. Well, I hate that. I would rather that not be the case. But if I were to choose between that and a woman who is, what's the word I want to look for? A woman who wants to have a lot of children out of wedlock with a bunch of different men, I would absolutely choose a woman who decides early on, responsibly, for whatever reason, I don't want any children, and I don't want to bring any children that I won't love, don't have a desire to take care of, or don't want to be with a man to help me take care of said child. I would much rather they be alone, or maybe not even alone. Many of them have dogs and such, so they have other companions to satisfy that nurturing need that is always there. But I would much rather it be them than a woman who is, oh, I want to have kids, and they have kids, and they end up getting divorced, like this black woman with this white guy, and just destroying the family structure because of their own selfish desires and needs. So if you're going to be selfish, then I would rather it just be them alone to themselves being selfish, so they're not harming any innocent people along the way, be it children or the man in question who may want a family, only to find out later, oh wow, she just wanted the child, and now the child is screwed, the man is screwed, and society because of that, as a ripple effect, is also screwed. So I'm all for child-free women who want it. I would say by and large, I prefer that they not do it, because we're supposed to replenish the population that we leave this earth. We replenish it. That's the natural order of things. But if it's going to be that way, then I think this is the most responsible way to do it.
Okay, Rajan, last word.
All right. So I pretty much have mentioned this. Like, when you're, for any parent, you really have to be selfless if you're going to want to have children. Be able to sacrifice things you want. And if you outright know that you're going to be selfish, then I would suggest don't have children. I've seen too many, especially women, I've also seen men, but especially women who will have children for the most selfish reasons. These children are like, just end up like either having problems themselves, hating their parents for for pretty much not being parents and like treating them bad. Like, it just, like, even though it's like, yeah, we need to like replenish the population, like you're literally creating like villains. It's not just that, oh, these are the people who are most likely going to commit crimes or anything. These are people who will like just be really hating of like life and humanity, society kind of people.
We know all the stats about single mothers, guys. We know them already. We know it. We know how single mothers, how children raised by single mothers turn out, and it's true. So yeah, you are 100% correct. A lot of these kids, villain, like their freaking villain origin story is their mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Doug, I also have a tangent response to you. So I went back and saw your last stream because I got in late, and I saw that you asked about like, do people like eggnog?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you this. Are you aware of a store chain called Publix?
Oh yeah, uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, drink their eggnog. That's like some of the best tasting drink I've ever had, because personally I don't care for eggnog. Like, it's either bland or it's just nasty. But that stuff is like probably the gold of drinking stuff.
Okay,
So Publix brand eggnog.
because my favorite thing, because I love chocolate milk, and there's this stuff called Promised Land chocolate milk.
I know what you're talking about. That
It's
stuff is
really
good.
it's really like drinking a candy bar. It's like, you can't eat anything else with it. It's like drinking ice cream. Okay, since Pyro put it in the private chat, we're real quick. We're gonna watch this good intentions versus unintended consequences in Sweden, because that's
Yeah.
the video that the Pyro was talking about. It's only 4 minutes, and then we can go, because I'm interested.
Gangs now use child assassins after Sweden passes law making it illegal to prosecute kids for crime. Does that mean we get to prosecute their parents? I'd be fine with that trade-off. Maybe the parents would actually keep them in check. In the current year, -1, Sweden's Social Democrat Party passed a new law that made it illegal to arrest, detain, or prosecute a child under 15 for any crime. It also erased all criminal punishments for children. How could this possibly go wrong, I wonder? This applies to every single crime imaginable. Now, it'll be fine. As you can imagine, things have not been going well. John Rossell, a prosecutor in Gothenburg, said, we see an enormous increase in young people committing serious crimes. There's
This is what happens when women run the government, guys. This is what happens.
Yeah.
This has to be a bunch of freaking women.
The need for increased opportunities to deprive young people of their liberty. It is completely decisive for being able to combat serious crime, Russell said. Russell, Justice Minister Gunnar Strömer is working on getting legislation to revise or repeal the law. For example, giving the police the opportunity to use coercive measures against young people is a very critical issue for both prevention and for being able to clear up this type of crime. I still think we can compromise, man. Punish the parents or legal guardians instead if the kids do something wrong. If we can't punish the kids, we got to punish their guardians. Swedish gangs immediately took advantage of the new law. Like Fagin and Oliver Twist, they've started recruiting chillins into their gangs with renewed enthusiasm.
Swedish gangs. What? I hate to say it, but when I picture like Swedish gang members, I just picture a bunch of pussies, man. Why is that? It's just like French gangsters, dude. My ex-wife was from Cameroon. Her first language was French, and I just like French is the most pussy sounding language on the planet. You could have a gun in my face and be threatening my life, and I'd be like, "Oh, that sounds so pretty." I can't take French seriously, man. I can't do it. French sounds like you're fucking chewing on frogs, man.
So one of the more alarming stories is that of chillins who have become contract killers and carry out hits all over the country. Dang, is that really happening in Sweden? Look, they apparently got it on camera. I guess it is. One 14-year-old assassin walked reporters through the hiring process. In text messages seen by the Sunday Telegraph are for
a 14-year-old assassin, guys. Come on. That's that. God. Can you imagine? You walk up to 14-year-old. I need you to kill. I need you to take my wife out. And here's a Snickers. Here's a Snickers bar and a box of Skittles too. Here you go, buddy.
He probably gave him like two packs of Xbox Game Pass.
I know. gave him a year-long PlayStation subscription.
Yeah.
Talking about 14 don't 14-year-olds play with Roblox?
Yeah.
I got him a couple of Roblox cards and he took his wife out.
Fernando's handler, a member of Sweden's Foxtrot gang, sent him tips on how to gain access to the target's apartment block and avoid getting caught. If the entrance is locked, take a stone and break it. The handler, known as Luis Gucci, tells Fernando that then you do your thing. Afterwards, when you come back to the hood, you put the AK in someplace. Then go home, take a shower, wash your clothes. Make sure you get your fake IDs all sorted too. The calls for hits show up on social media platforms like TikTok and Snapchat with adventurous names like Bombing Today or Who Wants to Minecraft Someone in Stockholm. Is this for real? Like they're just putting out fucking TikTok videos to announce.
Sounds like a movie plot on Netflix.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? On Paramount Plus or something like that, or Apple TV.
Hits. There are some graphic examples cited of kids Minecrafting entire families, including toddlers and infants. It's too horrible to recount here. Damn. And they're not going to be punished for it, huh? Karen Gutblad, a police chief in Stockholm at the National Operations Department. Some people say they don't understand what they've done. They may not fully understand the consequences of what they've done, but if you're 14 years old and you shoot a person in the head, you understand that man is dead. Yeah, that's right. It's time to stop considering them as being mentally stunted. They know what they're doing. Police say that gangs are currently focused on recruiting girls and kids with disabilities because they would arouse less suspicion from their targets.
Yeah. Girls and kids with disabilities. Ah, You're gonna give an AK to a kid in a wheelchair? You better put the brakes on his tires before he starts shooting that thing. You're gonna
That's
have some kid with
hilarious.
This is
Down syndrome.
this is actually quite terrible because if this goes on long enough, it could set the precedent
Oh
for
yeah.
people. We used to have a level of I trust kids, I trust people with disability, I trust the elderly. But if they start becoming weaponized, whether it be of their own volition or someone else using them to weaponize, then everyone's going to become distrustful of everybody around
Or
them, and
not
it's going to
even
be a
that.
very
Or not even that.
evil society.
What if you and your mom have like a really bad fight when you're 12? You get emotional. You take a knife, and you take your mom out. You're not gonna get punished for it.
You
Can
should
you
be,
imagine? This is
Ooh.
insane. This is
Yeah.
insane, you guys. What
It
is
would be
going
the
Yeah.
same
on?
as it's the same as when women figured out that they wouldn't be punished for
Hitting a
example,
man.
aborting
I was gonna say they're not gonna get punished for freaking punching a man in the face.
things like that, or taking them or trying to take them to court for means that is completely unreasonable, just to put inflict pain and hurt on them, not because it's justified, but just because I want to make them feel. So if women became aware of the power that they have, kids are. I remember when I was a kid. I mean, because we always won at some point, and I was
Mhm.
very conscious and aware of anything I did that was bad or evil at a certain point. It's definitely not no 15. I mean, like you know well what you're doing by that age, at least by 10, 9, you know. So
Yeah,
when kids
I agree.
become aware that the law is in their favor to do bad things if mommy, daddy doesn't please me, and they can just get away with murder and they know it, they're smart enough to know that they'll be able to get away with it. And if they're allowed to do it, that in itself would become an epidemic.
Yeah. But all right, I, I'm gonna stop it here because we're at the 3 hours and 5 minutes. My final words are, guys, I don't care if modern women have kids or not. I just don't want there to be any more baby mamas. One thing I'm tired of is baby mamas. Simps and baby mamas are the problems, are the root of all problems in society. So the less baby mamas we have, the better. Even if it means freaking, you know, women flushing their children down the toilet before they're born. I don't care, man. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So all right. Well, and it was really good that Pearl was on the show. I'm telling you, I've met Pearl in person a couple of times, and Pearl is
Oh,
as cool as you think she is. She's awesome.
hmm,
Yeah, she's great, and she's tall too. I'm 6'3" and she's 6 foot, so she's wearing heels. I was like,
damn.
man, yeah, uh-huh. But Pearl is as cool as you think she'd be, and I've been helping. She said it, so I can say it, but I've been helping her with her show for years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when she had her talk show, I would write whole scripts and whole questions, and I
Wow.
modded. I was a moderator on every single one of those shows, every single one. So yeah,
Whoa.
Wow.
the good
And
old days.
the fact that she came back, like you almost never see that happen because it's a very, from my understanding, YouTube space, it's a very dog eat dog type thing. They'll use someone to leapfrog you. You think they're your friend. They become more objectively speaking, more subscribers, more famous, more viral than the person who helped them get there. And then they suddenly start talking about that friend or they distance themselves from that friend. So she came back and just saying, that's why I thought she was a troll. I was like, this can't be really her because
Yeah.
he's one of the biggest ones out there. So the fact
Well,
that she came back, she don't have to, but that she does speaks to the level and quality of the friendship that you two
well,
have.
well.
Yeah.
One of the best parts about Pearl is, um, she believes what she says, and I admire people that can put their face out there and speak for men because I can't do it. I have a day job that I don't want to leave. I make really good money. But so I appreciate people that can put their face out there and speak for men. Because remember, we've only been able to share our ideas since 2015. We're still new to this whole thing, And a lot of people they try to gatekeep the red pill space. Oh, we can't have. There are people I vehemently disagree with. Donovan Sharp, I hate him, but you know what? He's a voice.
Mm.
Like we still it's still nothing compared to the View and the Talk and the Real and all this garbage. You were back in the 80s and the 90s, Ricky Lake, Donahue, all this garbage. 50 years of unchallenged, unfiltered misandry, and now we can fight back. So I want as many people to ride up as possible. Pyro needs to get his setup. If you guys get your sets and start putting content out there and start speaking about them, because we still need as many viewpoints as possible. You know, I've only been posting videos for under 2 years. I have 3,300 subs. There's a lot of men out there who need to hear this message, guys. So, if you're thinking about content creation, I say do it. Get a laptop, get a microphone, and just start putting out content. But yeah. Pro and I, we talk on the regular, man. She's great. She's really a good person to know. I'm really glad that our paths have crossed.
Oh man, you might want to be careful saying that to a lot of the black male creators. They'll call you a traitor. They call you all kinds of words for siding with a white woman talking about things that only black men should be talking about, because our perspective is the only one that's valid and that should be listened to and should be taken as gospel. I mean, just look at what happened with Fresh and Fit. You have a lot of men taking their advice and it's leading them straight to hell.
Well, I don't know if you know this about me, man, but I don't know, man. Like I've had this love. I love being black, but I love it so much that like I hate parts about it. Because I was that AJ and I. If you haven't, in fact, I don't know if you're subscribed to my brother's channel.
I am.
Yeah. We were the kids that listened to rock music. I used to skate a little bit. Anime, computers. So I used to get it the worst from freaking other black people, man. And when I was in my 20s, I dated nothing but white girls. I was married from 30 to 35. I got divorced, and then all of a sudden I'm single, 6 foot tall, 6 figures, and black girls are all over me, dude. All over
I
me.
wouldn't even touch it. But you smart enough to know not to. Of
Oh
course
yeah,
they
of
are.
course.
Right after you
But
become successful and you come, yeah. But they wasn't there. If they wasn't there, I might started from the bottom. Now I'm here. They wasn't
yeah,
there. Don't matter.
and they get upset, man, and it's just like
Oh,
it's just so what's funny? I got divorced. I made a point to try to find like a professional black woman, but it's just like it's just not gonna happen, man. I'm gonna have to import me one from somewhere, I think. But yeah, man, and so I don't care. I don't care what black dudes have to say. I really don't. We're our own worst enemy. I I found my tribe of black men that I can identify with, but I don't have this. So, oh yeah, we're all brothers and sisters, black diaspora. Because usually in a professional or academic setting, your worst enemy is another black person. As a black person, all throughout school, every single job you had, the military, your worst enemy was another black person. You go to black-owned businesses and they screw you over.
oh, the fraud is unreal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unreal.
Yeah, so I don't care what black dudes have to say. I'll support Pearl till the end. I'm telling you, I met her before she even when she was still the whitest girl in the world reacts, and when she was reacting to rap videos. And
Really?
oh yeah. Then
That sounds
then
crazy.
then she started her show in London and took off. But yeah. So yeah, I'm probably gonna talk to her. I don't know, rather soon. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna head over to AJ's stream for a little bit. Joseph, thank you for being here. Ragey Gamer, Pyro, always good to see you, my friend. And I might go live tomorrow. I might want to finish up this topic because I have I'm trying to stream a lot now because I'm trying to get the cadence of it. I always have too much stuff. I had a lot more videos, but anyway, whatever. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. And if you're going over to AJ's stream, I'll see you guys over there. Okay.
Peace.
All right, bye.